have a feeling you're going to be annoyed more. And that's all we'll say about that.
Yikes.
Looking at my skinny, fat, giant head with its like vein dimples. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Skinny fat is good.
Those things up there, what make the brain work? All right. Let's do this. Let's do the damn thing. Oh no. Okay, let's do the damn thing. And yes, I already finished my hot chocolate.
Yeah, this thing was amazing.
I put ice cubes in it
Whip.
so that it was bitch boy temperature.
It was cooler than usual, and I was like, "Oh, this is nice."
So it was chocolate milk.
It's fine by me.
Pretty much.
3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast, episode 905, the Enamorus Podcast.
Oh.
Mom Brain, will you tell us about Enamorus, please?
I sure will.
Enamorus.
And that's all I have to say. Enamorus. When Enamorus flies to this land from across the sea, the bitter winter comes to an end. Wow.
That's
like
very,
poetic.
that's what I was going to say.
According to legend, this Pokemon's love gives rise to the budding of fresh life across Hisui. They're 5 feet tall, 105 pounds, only female, and the category is love-hate. Abilities include Cute Charm. The Pokemon may infatuate attackers that make direct contact with it. That's my plan if I ever get attacked. I just try to be cute so that they don't bother me.
I don't know if you're going to be able to do
Try
that.
really hard.
Yeah.
This is the end of the Pokemon section.
Thank you, especially with, as we've drawn attention to before, that face that you do, or your face, I should just say your face. Where were we when you were doing it?
Dinner.
Dinner, where? Dinner alone. Dinner with friends.
Watching
Dinner
TV alone.
Watching TV alone. It was just me and you. Oh, where Oliver?
Charlie Brown's.
Charlie Brown.
C. Brown.
That's what it was. There. Yes, Mom Brain has a not resting bitch face, just resting, no idea what her face looks like face. So she
And I
often
have a permanent wrinkle that even if I try to flatten my skin out, you can still see it from my like.
she'll be like looking at her phone and like her face will indicate that like something's wrong or like she's shocked or whatever. And I, for a long time, was like, what's wrong? But now I'm like, I know probably everything's fine. I'll be like, you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And she'll, she's reading the text about whatever, nothing bad at all. But her face makes you think it's the end of the world. Mom Brain is here. For just the listeners, she was scowling. How are you, Mom Brain?
I've got the sniffles.
You took a COVID test. You're in the clear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a fever or anything else. I just have the sniffles and like a great deal of pressure in my head.
You guys have to stop saying the positively towards the negatively when you test, because you always text that and I always get confused. I know what it's a reference to, but.
And I knew for a fact that you were going to feel that way, which is why I followed it up, because I was going to say to Mom Brain, text him separately so he knows you're just joking around and you are okay, because I was like, I
knew that it wasn't,
but it still puts a little down. Still puts a little down.
It always gets me every time. I don't know why.
And yes, when you texted and like to check in about who was coming, and I replied for Mom Brain because I know she's terrible with the phone. I know she's in the house. I know she has her phone, and I know she texted just seconds before that, but none of that matters.
Well,
I had to call her to get her to like to be like, hey, could you answer the text? And she's like,
I was cleaning the toilet.
Yeah, but that's
with no gloves.
That's fine. But you had answered the other text like 2 seconds ago, and I was like, it doesn't.
I wasn't cleaning the toilet then.
You got to get her when you get her. And you never know when it's going to be. Deux is here. How are you doing?
Good. Doing just fine, thank you.
Good to see you. It's been a couple weeks. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, I missed out last week, but I listened and I liked it.
God.
In fact, I think I like the show more when it's just the two of you.
Oh,
yeah.
So is this what you're saying? You're leaving in 2024?
No, I would never be that nice to the audience.
I mean, it's nice to have a show where it's just us because it's a different kind of cadence to the show and feeling. but I prefer the everybody.
Is that like a little window of what it's like to if it's just the two of you here? Is it always like that?
I would say yes.
Like
It's just like
we have fun.
You have
we actually talk to each other. There's a back and forth.
You're pretty funny with each other. You're never nice to each other, and it's funny.
yeah, we're always harassing each other. That's very true. Mom Brain actually just said that she thinks this Christmas break is the best one she's ever had.
It's been the best I've ever had.
Oh, cool.
And it's been mostly just us. We've like gone to the movies, we've gone out to eat, we've hung out here, and she's like, well, we'll get into it. It's end of the year show. There's not a ton of news.
We got a Barnaby.
We
got a Barnaby in the Discord.
We got other stuff to talk about.
We got many critters, but
hello to Josh Grobot, my old college friend. How are you doing? I hope you had a great holiday.
I am the world's best singer.
Oh, gotta warm up those pipes
I'm here to bless you with my presence.
tomorrow night. I'm sure you're performing somewhere for New Year's.
Call of Duty, bro.
Oh, you're playing Call of Duty? Hey, I've played Fortnite with Deux on New Year's Eve before, so yeah, that's fine. You do
That's
you.
none of your business.
Okay, excellent.
Don't be a sweaty. Be a go-getty. Moving on.
Okay, fine. And George is here. George, how are you doing?
Buongiorno.
George, you got any New Year's plans?
Molto bene. Just gonna pick some limes, look at them, maybe drop them, maybe laugh.
Same old. Going out of 2023 as you came into it. So good for you. George, I almost had some key lime pie a couple of days ago, but I decided not to, and I don't know if it was right. We were at a restaurant. I had a brownie sundae instead. It was delicious. We know the waiter because they are, is it waiter or wait? Is it like actor and actress?
At this point in time, you can say waiter, and I think that's like the gender neutral.
We know the waiter because they
Server
are family.
sometimes
The server,
prefer.
that's what it is.
You know what? Server feels so like
Yeah.
you're serving
Slavish?
me. Yeah, like it
does.
just feels like very like diminutive. But
Well, we know the server, waiter, waitress because they are family. And as they always say, whenever we get anything from them, they make it with love. So obviously they're not actually making the food, but they put on a little extra whipped cream and warm the brownie a little bit more.
Very
So
nice.
I had a lovely brownie sundae, but they had key lime pie. They had a cookie cake that they actually gave me to take home. They were a little, family
wow.
discount there. Yeah, she dropped it off at the booth when we were there. Funny part about this story.
You'll bend the rules for.
Oh, I didn't know she was going to do it. I had no clue at all. She just came over with the box and was like, also, come on, Pea Hut Lady. Well, it's the same situation as Pea Hut Lady. We're giving my cousin like a very nice tip along with everything else.
like we stopped to get cash because you don't want to leave it on the cards. Like,
of course.
We we went there just to see her, and we also ate while we were there. Again, I had no idea she was bringing this cake out. It was new on the menu, and I asked her about it, and she's like, it looks fine, but I don't know. And she said she would go with the brownie sundae, so that's what I went with, and it was great. But she brought out the cake as a surprise, and I took that home. The best part is it was towards the end of the night, so the place was kind of dead by the time we were wrapping things up. So she sat down in the booth to talk to us, and she sat there for like a good 10 minutes. And then one of the other staff came over and was like, they said like, Sarah, we need you for a second or something.
yeah.
And they pulled her away, and I was like, oh, we're going to get her in trouble. She told us later that it's her friends at work, and they thought we were random customers who were like, oh, come talk to us. And they were saving her. So when she went in, they were like, we were going to give you one more minute with them before we came in to save it. She's like, oh no, it's family. It's okay. And they're like, oh, now we get it. So that's just really funny.
That's cool. But I know you don't feel this way because you guys are totally water under the bridge, but I would be in my head about that for days. I would be like, I look creepy. I shouldn't be speaking to anyone. No one should ever sit down with me at a table. Like, that's what's going on up here.
No, I think the same thing, and it doesn't bother me because I know what people think when they see me. They think all kinds of weird stuff. So that's fine. I get it. I was more thinking that's really nice of her staff to take care of her like
that. I like that a lot.
But also I was like, man, I got to ask her if it's happened where, like, I know people at restaurants get talkative, but has there been like someone at the restaurant that's like, come sit in the booth with us and talk? I'd be like, that's next level awkward.
I can speak from experience in that industry. I've worked at many different places, and including a Charlie Brown's, and only at a Charlie Brown's has it gotten to the point where people come in and they know you because they come in every week. They have their coupons for the prime rib.
That's what she says.
And they get to know you. And then, like, it wouldn't be weird to know somebody enough to sit at their table. You wouldn't really want to, but it happens a lot.
She says there's a good amount of regulars, and they do come in multiple times a week. So it's the tradition continues at Charlie Brown's, apparently.
Yeah.
I had a principal once upon a time who, on back to school night, when all the parents come in, when it was over, they'd make an announcement like the time is now, whatever, 8:30 p.m.
The time is now.
Back to school night is over. Parents, please make your way out the front of the building. And then like 5 minutes after that, she'd make an announcement and be like, staff, it is time for the faculty meeting debriefing. And it was like, that was your way of being like, oh, sorry, if there was like parents still, and there always were still lingering. And the first time I ever worked for her, I didn't know that was like a thing, that she like was just trying to help us out. So I like went to the library and I was like,
where's this debrief?
Like, yeah.
Yep. Also, I want to say very quickly, Nikki Hill is not here. He was planning to attend, but a family member tested positive for COVID. He is in the clear as far as we know, but rather be safe than sorry, so he's not here.
Nikki Hill, we speak your name.
I was going to say he sends his love, but he didn't send anything. He just said he's not coming. So.
Oh, thanks for speaking my name last week, Mom Brain, by the way. I really appreciated that. I've never had my name spoken. Feels nice.
There you go. Hello, Granimus and Intimdo and Highland Tom and Radical Defect. Kufu, The Mummy, Retsuza, TKO, Thrill Mo, Giant Reggie. Did I say Retsuza? Burn and Cheese. Of course, Mom Peregrine. Look at this beautiful dog. Kurt Dog, Alternate Liz. It keeps bumping me. Nico Darunia. Whoever else I didn't see, because Bootleg Pokemon, because it keeps bumping me. The Super Sanchez, Fluffernutter. Thanks for joining us on here's a text from Nikki Hill.
He says, give my love.
Thanks for joining us on the last GoNintendo Podcast of 2023.
Nikki Hill sends his love.
Yes, Nikki Hill has officially sent his love. We are all looking at it in a group text right now, so confirmed. Yes, as you know, it's that weird week, not weird, it's that wonderful week in the holiday season where Christmas is over, New Year's is not here yet, and everybody's just kind of going with the flow. So
we're all rotting.
There's going to be it's going to be much like last week, a very relaxed show. There will be some stories to cover, of course, and we will talk Nintendo.
I understand.
We're just enjoying the relaxation and enjoying the slowness of everything, because I'm sure in a couple of weeks it'll all be back to normal. But let's enjoy the peace of mind and the easygoing flow as we go into 2024. Nikki Hill also says Happy New Year to everyone. So there you go. Nikki Hill, you can text and I will make sure at least one of us delivers your message if you have anything. Oh, tub rotting, says Highland Tom. Yes, there's been lots of rotting this week. Mom,
I haven't done anything but rot. Like literally, that is all I've done is rot.
But rot.
My cousin, who we were just talking about, that works at that restaurant, has been rotting as well. She's back from college for break, so she's although she did come back and work, and she doesn't have to. She just makes really good money and likes doing it. She is also rotting. She's sleeping and just resting and eating. And she said she's always been someone who is not a movie TV show person. She can't deal with the commitment of sitting down to do it, especially in a theater. But now she's hi, Tony De La Mancha. Now she's changing. She's actually going to see movies, and she says she feels like she's becoming a movie person. So it's been
good for her.
Very exciting. We went to see. What did we see?
The Iron Claw.
We saw the Iron Claw.
Oh, cool.
Excellent. Very depressing, but obviously.
And then later that night, I came home and watched Saltburn. So that was a lot.
Goodness, that was a head trip.
Iron Claw is excellent. It's very depressing. It's one of those movies where if you don't know it's a true story, you'd be like, who wrote this? This is too impossible. And I said to my brain, in reality, the story's even sadder than what they show on TV or in the movie. So it's a rough one. Mom Brain said it best, I think, when she said it's an excellent movie and I never want to see it again because it's that depressing. But
how's the bear in it? He's good.
They're all good. Everybody's really good. Zac Efron, I've seen him in things. He's fine. He really does a good job here. You can tell he was like, this is my chance to like do something. And he's probably the best in the movie, but there's nobody that's bad. But
how's
you know
their dad? I like the guy that plays
one.
the dad. Is he good?
He's very good at being
bad.
Crap.
There is one bad.
Oh, yes, we can mention that. So it's about wrestling, obviously. So some other actors pop up as wrestlers, and they all do a good portrayal, except for whoever they got to do Ric Flair. Horrible.
Looked nothing like him.
Doesn't look like him. Doesn't sound like him.
Like
what the heck?
Worst woos I've ever heard in my life.
Is it because he's still alive and they didn't want to like?
No, they do other people that are still alive. I don't know. It's because everything else is so meticulously paid attention to. But whatever they did with that casting, I don't get it. What's the matter here?
Well, it seemed loud.
It's because it's that's where it's supposed to be. When the wire is a little wonky, it gets quieter. I got to switch that out. I meant to do that today. Hi, William. Good to see you. We are talking about the Iron Claw Thrillmo. So yes, the Ric Flair's bad, but his screen time amounts to a minute and a half.
So
maybe?
It's not much, but it stood out.
So painful.
But it's not going to be painful to people who don't know Ric Flair.
Right. It's
totally
just that
fine.
he's so iconic and you're watching
We
it.
Obviously, like you would watch the movie and you'd be like, this guy is terrible.
Right.
But anybody watching who's just watching the movie for a movie or isn't that familiar with pro wrestling, would never stand out.
Is he the most like well-known wrestler that's portrayed in the movie, would you say? Or
yes. Yeah. There's other, we knew a ton of people in the movie, but it's also cool because there's some cameos from actual wrestlers today who are portraying just either background wrestlers in the movie or a couple notable wrestlers. So that was nice.
They also did a good job of which is why the Ric Flair stuff was confusing because they actually showed classic footage of some wrestlers because it obviously was happening at the time of, so why they couldn't do that with Ric Flair.
But they did a good job of when you see the actual matches, when it's always somebody watching it on TV. So it's in the background. It's not up close and you never see the wrestlers face on. You'll see them behind or whatever. So they do it really good, but yeah, everybody in it is great. I was going to say, I keep meaning to say this to you, Mom Brain. Maybe you know his name, and unfortunately, I only know him from. He was just in A Murder at the End of the World. He's opposite the girl that's the main lead. I don't remember he's one of the main brothers in the movie. It's not the bear, and it's not Zac Efron. It's
I'd have to look
one of the other brothers. In A Murder at the End of the World, the show I didn't like, but I did like him in the show. In this movie, he is great. He's the one that steps up on the mic and does the promo for Zach. Yeah. How good was his promo? Because he does a promo in the ring that isn't just good for being good. It feels like a wrestling promo good. It's like if I heard that while I was watching wrestling, I'd be like, ooh, this guy's got something. So it's nuanced to the fact that he sounds like he doesn't just sound like a good actor. He sounds like a wrestler that's a good actor. I don't know how. There's something about the cadence of his delivery. I was like, that really sounds like a wrestler. That was really good. Because if I watched that on TV, I'd be like, "Ooh, this guy's got to be on the mic more. He's really good." So his performance was really good. But yes, great movie. Very sad, very depressing.
How did the wrestling seem, or the actors wrestling?
They did an excellent job. Like I said, they were trained by Chavo Guerrero, who, has been wrestling for 30, 40 years or something. And he does a lot of that. Cool. Like Chavo is your go-to guy for a wrestling anything. Like he did Glow, he did this, he did The Wrestler. Like Chavo's the guy you go to for Hollywood.
Which must mean he's an excellent teacher.
Yeah,
right?
He's a great teacher and a great
one thing to be a good wrestler.
Technician. Everybody looks good. There's nothing when we were watching it. we're not talking obviously, but I was like, it's really impressive. Like they would shoot matches and they would shoot it as if you would see it on TV.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
and then they'd cut in with like movie things where you get like close-ups and stuff. But when you see them from afar, as if you were watching a match on a TV, I was like, they did an amazing job. And it's actually them in the ring. It's not like doubles or anything like that. It's
I
really
heard
them.
they took it real serious.
Yeah, and the movie does a wonderful job of showing the realness of pro wrestling in so many different ways, like how real life events tie into what happens in storylines, and how like while the match outcomes are predetermined, people are really getting hurt. Like they do a really good job of showing like what these people do to their bodies. They do. Just there's one like scene early on in particular with Zac Efron where you see a thing play out and you're like, this is what people don't think about when they're watching, or not even when they're watching wrestling. When somebody hears about pro wrestling, this is the kind of stuff you don't think about. But yeah, great movie. Excellent. Really, I don't really have any complaints. It was very good.
I meant to say earlier on, you got a compliment on your sweatshirt.
Oh, from who? Thank you. This
I
was
forget
who's this a gift from? My mom or my sister?
Your mom.
What's it
By
say?
proxy,
Dad.
you. It's the Loki TVA.
It's the one we
Oh,
saw
nice.
at Box Lunch.
Yes.
I like took a picture,
Cool.
or I went online and found it and sent it to his mom and his sister, and I was like, for Christmas, if you're looking for something.
How
Yes,
those
it's my
long
first day wearing
sleeves
it.
treating you?
I like it. It's just I got out of the shower and I was hot, so and I have a shirt on underneath it. I had a conversation with Mom Brain. I was like, should I wear a shirt underneath it? I mean, I wear long sleeves all the time now. It's just right now because I got out of the tub, which was like 8 million degrees. I need to cool off a little bit. Since we're talking about movies, I'm just going to parlay this into movies. My cousin has been talking to me for a long time about Letterboxd, which I made an account on years ago, probably right when the thing got started. I just never did anything with it. She's very active on Letterboxd, and she's been pushing me to become active on Letterboxd. So now I'm active on Letterboxd. If you want, I wrote about this on Patreon last night, but if you would like to, you can follow me on. Oh, thank you. I believe you're in the chat. I don't want to say names. Thank you for the person who just joined the Patreon. I very much appreciate that. I'm going to talk about that later too. You can follow me on Letterboxd. It's, I don't know.
For $1.
No, Letterboxd is free.
It's free. Letterboxd. That's not you're not renting movies, you're just rating movies.
Yes. Are you unfamiliar with Letterboxd? I'm just asking.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I've heard of it, but I thought it was the thing where that's Redbox. Never mind. That's
Yes.
embarrassing. I'm 80.
There you go. I put the link in the Discord. It's letterboxd.com/Raw Cowboy. That is LETTERBOXD. There's no ED. It's just D. .com/Raw Cowboy. If you would like to follow along with me, you can. I'm not writing blogs over there or anything. I'm just doing what Letterboxd is known for, which is you log that you've watched a movie or a TV show if they have it. And you rate it scale of 0 to 5 stars, and you can write a little review if you want to. So that's what I've been doing. I got my profile up to date last night. You can see what I've been watching and what I think of it. Also, if you'd like to know more about what I've been watching, I don't want to. There's no way to say it. I write about that stuff on Patreon. Like Mom Brain has said multiple times now, you can join the Patreon
For $1.
for $1. I write about game stuff over there all the time too, but I do write in detail about what I'm watching or playing or what reading, if it's comic books or any of that. So if you are curious, you can follow along there. But yes, it's been fun because I obviously like movies and TV shows and anime, if you want to count that separately. And I want to keep that stuff more present in my mind, and I don't want to forget when I've watched things. And this is a fun way to share thoughts. It's a fun way for me to look back on what I've watched and conversations that come from it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. You can follow me over at Letterboxd if you would like. Letterboxd is free. You don't need to pay anything to read what I'm doing over there or to use it. There is a premium service.
Free.
I don't know what else it gets you, but I'm just doing free. So there you go. So
there's a better way. You tell me there's a better way than going into my notes app and just typing in the movie.
That's what I've
and
been
the
doing.
number.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and now I'm transitioning away from that. Yeah, but it's not completely foolproof because Letterboxd is mostly movie focused. So it does have TV shows,
Yes.
but not every TV show. So I'm still gonna have to keep my notes app updated too. But there you go. The paid tiers give you access to annual stats and stuff, says Nintendo. Thank you for that information. I did not know. So yeah, I don't know what I reviewed. I did it all last night. So I think I got like 12 mini reviews up there, ratings or whatever. So yeah,
It's
if
like
you're a movie
Goodreads
buff
for
or
movies.
TV buff, you go right ahead and follow me along there. There's other things I want to talk about. What do we got here? We talked about holidays pretty much. Do anything from the holidays you want to talk about, since we haven't seen you since before the holidays?
I mean, yeah, not really. I didn't get much video game action this holiday. It's been a long time since I've usually Christmas was the time to get video games as a young video game lover, and for years now I haven't been asking for any video games. A little too old kind of for that, really. Like, I mean, I still enjoy getting the right present for somebody, but it's never, in my circles, it's never really expected or necessary. It's more of just like a nice thing if it happens. So.
I don't ever ask for anything, but my parents will always ask, "What do you want?" I very rarely say anything. This year I had stuff, but it was like, "I'm cold. I want shirts," or stuff like that. So, yeah, I haven't played. I've been playing Fortnite with the family, but I haven't really played too much. So you're with family. We're hanging out, and
yeah,
whatever.
I'm looking forward to getting back to Fortnite with you all.
Yes.
It's been a long time. Been over a week now. I haven't.
Too long. Oh, yes. Actually, speaking of holidays, one of the best gifts I got this holiday was. My sister gave me she gave me a whole bunch of presents, but she said there was one in particular she wanted me to open last. So,
Was it a puppy?
it was not a puppy.
No, that would have been first.
Yeah, it was dead. So I opened it, and it was a Neon Genesis Evangelion shirt, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" It was actually a really cool shirt. I really like it, and I was like, "Why does she want me to open this last?" And she followed it up by saying, "Merry effing Christmas. I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion." So she watched the whole show.
That
finally.
was a better gift.
And I was like, "This is great." Even. Yeah. And she goes, "And I hated it," which I figured she
did.
Would.
Oh,
yeah.
June baby.
So she hated it because she didn't like anybody in the show. But I was just very happy that she watched it. So we talked a lot about it.
I was very happy that I tortured yet another loved one with this show.
So we talked probably like a good half hour during while we were eating, just about the show in general and all that stuff. And then we found out that she didn't watch the movie, and she was talking to a friend who was also like talking about the movie, and she's like, "Oh, there's a movie," and he's like,
went that far and
"You gotta watch
the movie."
the movie." And I was like, "You gotta watch the movie." So she watched it the next day, and she said, "Now I hate it even more."
Oh, thank God.
But she said there was one character that she didn't like, but didn't think he was as bad as we thought he was. And then she watched the movie and she's like, "Okay, now I understand." She didn't think Shinji was all that bad. And I was like, "Shinji's the worst person in the world."
Yeah.
But she watched the movie.
I'm with her. She and I watched it in the same exact way. We didn't get anything out of it except what you told us afterwards, and then we understood it and hated it. Now you got to get her to play Undertale.
She played some of it but stopped. So I don't know what her motivations were fully in watching the show. I'm sure part of it was to make me happy, but I'm sure a bigger part was she would give me recommendations, and I showed her I was putting them on a hostage list. I would not watch them until she watched Neon Genesis. So I had two things on there, and I've watched one of them. She gave me Sex Education, which is a 5-season show. So that's going to take a while to watch, but I'm going to watch it. But the other thing she gave me was Spirited. Have you seen Spirited?
No, Will Ferrell and what's his name?
Yes. She said she loves Spirited. She's like, "I know you don't like musicals." And I'm like, "I may not like musicals, but I will watch a musical. I'm never going to knock a musical because it's a musical." Watched it. 10 out of 10. Fantastic. Cannot say enough good things about it. I don't like movies that take a story that we've already heard and do it up in a different way, unless they do it in a way that I find is like really transformative. So obviously, this is a unique take on A Christmas Carol. I was blown away by it. Or I shouldn't say blown away. I was really impressed with what they did with it because I was like, oh, this is a really interesting idea. The songs are good. There's some funny like dialogue in them. I just loved the story, and above all else, I loved the message of the movie. So for what it was, 10 out of 10.
I had no idea.
No complaints. It's should easily be in the conversation of best holiday movies, hands down.
Really, that's
Hands down.
interesting.
I know.
I wonder if it's me or if it was the marketing, because I wouldn't spit on that movie if it were on fire. But
I
only
would
because
say
it looked so
I would
bad.
say marketing, yes. Again, unless somebody tells me to watch it, I wouldn't have jumped into it on my own because I'm not a fan of musicals and I don't like Christmas movies. So it's a 1-2 punch. Like unless somebody's really telling me watch this, I'm not going to watch it. She told me. Very glad I did. Everybody in it is good. It's not like hysterical by any means, but it has some moments that are funny. But it's more just the specific story and the aim of the story. And I gotta say, there were multiple times I thought I knew what the movie was going to do, and I was wrong. Like all the way to the very end, I was wrong. I was like, I really like this. So because there's certain things that happen where I'm like, I see what's going on here, and then those things didn't happen. I was like, oh, that's very surprising. So yes, loved that movie. It was so good.
Interesting.
You know, hi, Blinded by Daylight.
Did
Good
you
to see
watch that with them? No,
No.
you didn't see it.
Oh yeah, all my brain watch was Saltburn.
Did your sister watch Saltburn?
Not yet. She's afraid to, but she's going to.
I don't think there's anything to be afraid of.
I'm just saying what
I
she
was
said.
so
She's
happy
afraid.
that I knew nothing about it going into it. I think that's more why I ended up really liking it. It's because every single time I was like, this is going to happen. Nope, this is what it is. And then at the end, it wasn't what I thought it was.
See, this is why you need to watch Spirited, because I watched Saltburn, and in the first 10 minutes, I was like, I know what's going on here. And then exactly that happened for the rest of the movie.
Good
and then I watched Spirited, and I'm like, this is going to and I was completely wrong. So I don't know.
So I was going to watch Saltburn, and then Droth texted me and was like, have you watched Saltburn? And I was like, no, but he watched. And then I never heard back from her. And I was like, I better watch it so that we could talk about it. And so I watched it. I didn't like it. I was not horrified by the things that people are like horror. I mean, you know, there's like some gross stuff, but like it wasn't, you know, we were raised on Two Girls, One Cup. So I feel like
you make a great point. And again, I need to say this. It's not, I'm not knocking people who say the movie has shocking elements, because I will agree there are shocking elements. While they didn't shock me, I know people will see that movie and be like, what is going on here? And I like that a movie can take an audience that usually isn't used to anything that takes them out of their comfort zone and puts them wherever this movie takes it, wherever you want to call it. But I can appreciate that. And I'm hoping that's a bridge to other content that might push them outside of their boundaries. And I thought the movie was gorgeous, by the way. Such a really nicely shot movie.
That's why I like gave it just a solid 5, because there was like there were times in the movie where I was like, when is this going to be over? Like it's just ugh. But I couldn't stop watching, and there was like stuff that I really, really liked and I thought was like great. So, you know, it averaged out to be just middle of the road.
That Barry Keoghan, man, he's something else. He's good.
He's excellent.
I'm gonna say this really quick, and then we'll get off of movie talk unless somebody else has something they want to say. On my personal TikTok account, I've started covering other stuff too, anime and movies. So I think I'm Raw Meat Cowboy on TikTok. If you want to hear me talk more at length about those kind of things, you can do that there as well. And thank you for the support from you guys already. Some of you have found me over there and left some nice comments and watched the stuff I'm doing. I'm trying to do one a week. It's just for fun. I don't expect anything from it. I like talking about this stuff, so it's fun. I will say very quickly, you didn't watch What If season 2, right?
I watched 2 of them.
Oh, okay. I finished it last night. I like this season as much as the first one, if not a little bit more. And I won't say anything else. Actually, I don't want to say anything.
I saw the Die Hard episode. If that's what you're talking about.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. But yes, I really like that episode.
That makes. I'm glad you did.
I don't like spoof episodes or it's like the same thing with Spirited. I don't like Christmas stuff. I don't like new takes on stories we've already heard, and that I liked. So I don't know what I like, basically.
I don't know.
Marvel's
what you like.
Did you like the first episode? No, because I didn't like the first episode.
I hated the first episode.
The first episode, I said to Mom Brain, I was like, I didn't hate it, but I was like, it's okay. It's fine.
I liked the premise. The first like 3 minutes, I was like, okay, this is a cool premise.
Yes.
And then it kind of it stunk, and it was like a bad Blade Runner, not even. And I was like, what is going on here?
Yes.
And then I skipped the second episode because the third one sounded like Die Hard, and I was like, this sounds like Die Hard. And then I was like, oh, this is exactly Die Hard, and it's supposed to be funny, and I'm not laughing, and I was upset, and I was like, I really love all the characters. Why am I not enjoying this? Like Sam Rockwell was in it, Happy was in it.
It's funny because
I wanted to love it.
I watched it and I was like, this is something Deux would like, and I know he's not going to like it because I was like, because he knows he's supposed to like it, so he's not going to like it, or that's how I felt anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it, but part of it was like the jokes weren't funny. The writings wasn't great. I get that they have to fit a lot into like a 30-minute episode, but it was cringy. I thought.
Yes, I really like this season a lot. The only episode I really have complaints about are the first one, but again, I didn't think it was horrendous. I was like, and I'm like, it's the same thing I think about all an anthology series. I'm like, if it's one episode I don't like, it's one episode I don't like. It doesn't really matter. You see where the next one takes you. And the second half of this season in particular, I was really, I'll say, enthralled and tickled by, and I really want to say more, but it just ended today, so I'm not going to say
I'll
more.
keep watching because of what you just said. The first season was the same for me. Like I really liked some episodes and some were just whatever. So I know that there's going to be some that I like.
And one episode introduces a brand new character, like a brand new Marvel character, only exists here so far, and I love that character. Really, really cool. Nintendo says, did you and RMC, that's me, see Phantom Thread? No, don't even know what that is.
I saw Phantom Thread. It's D-Day-Lou's apparently last movie, but
last is in he's done?
He's retired before. I'm sure someone will pull him out.
It's like Miyazaki saying, this is my last movie, everybody. And then it comes into the theater and he's like, on to the next one.
Well, he like retired years ago before Gangs of New York and became a cobbler. And then Scorsese was like, I need you for this role. And then he acted again. And then Phantom Thread, which I want to say is Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't remember who directed that, but that was also his, second retirement. But like I said, somebody will drag him back, I hope.
Yeah.
Anyways, I liked Phantom Thread, if that's what you're asking. I loved the music. Johnny Greenwood did the score. It's excellent.
Him and Trent Reznor, the kings of movie scores lately.
Yeah, Johnny's scores are so interesting. And it just lends itself perfectly to. I mean, it's a movie I never thought I'd enjoy. It's about
agreed,
like a dressmaker or something, and I was like, this isn't going to be good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was like really good, actually. It's interesting.
I remember seeing like trailers for it. And
it's a few years old now.
Yeah.
All right. That was a lot of movie talk, but hopefully you found it interesting. Very quickly, Deux, I don't know if you're in the mood for it, but Mom Brain has made a TikTok recipe.
Oh.
And we have some if you'd like to try it. It is a... You want to describe it?
No.
Okay. It's a lemon bar with a base made out of cheese.
Cover your ears, George.
Yes, it's not a lime bar. It's a lemon bar with a Cheez-It base.
Oh, interesting.
The official Cheez-It's TikTok account showed this recipe, and I was like,
I mean, it's not anything I would have ever been clamoring for, but since it's here, I would love to try it if there's
the container.
Just a small.
Well, I don't want to like handle it with my snot.
I like it. I like I will eat one every day. I legit like it. Mom Ray doesn't like it, but she doesn't like salty and sweet. So
Okay, I think I knew that.
we will do that taste test. That's excellent. I'm excited for you. I hope you like it. And then one other thing about you, which is game related, as long as you are willing to talk about
I'm
it.
listening.
The Wii U 3DS story from this week, since we had a fun discussion about that. New accounts not working.
It's embarrassing, but of course I'll talk about it. I think it's important. It's important to talk about the experiences. I mean, I'm willing to bet our audience is a lot brighter than I am when it comes to reading things on the internet and Reddit especially. But do you want to like preface it with anything, or do you want me to just tell you what happened with me? And
I figured it. I don't want to like put words in your mouth, so I figured it'd be better for you to go, and I'll chime in if there's something.
So I was looking at on Reddit, and I came across an Engadget story that's it said that I wish I remembered the exact title
I
of
might still have our text.
of the article, but it said it had mentioned how the Wii U and 3DS online games, it was like the online portion has been shut down months before it was scheduled to, or something like that.
Nintendo starts shutting down online play for Wii U and 3DS months ahead of months ahead of schedule.
So I saw that and I read the article, and the article didn't have the update that eventually came out. And then I read some comments.
Still doesn't, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Well, that's crazy, because I started, like, you shouldn't do, like, rule number 1 on Reddit is don't read any of the comments. What did I do? I went straight to the comments, and every comment was worse than the last about how Nintendo hates their fans. They're ripping us off. They're taking advantage. Oh, and if you're a fan, you're a dummy, and like all the worst stuff ever. And so I jumped over to GoNintendo because I was like, I've
heard about this guy.
That's usually where I go to like fact check things. I should have done this first, but so I went there, and not only did I find RMC's article about it, but I found it had an update already. It was like already updated, and I thought for some reason, because and this is where I guess I owe you an apology, RMC. I'm very sorry.
I appreciate the apology.
I would have figured Engadget would have then updated, like, so I figured like, oh, maybe that came out, because I know you're the first on anything. So it's like, oh, he got the update, but maybe he's sleeping, because it was like early in the morning too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like RMC must be sleeping. This must be the new thing. Like maybe they flip-flopped again.
So Deux saying he thought my article was not as up-to-date as Engadget.
So I reached out to RMC and I was like, hey man, like what's the deal with this story? And then he basically told me that what I was looking at on Engadget was BS. And what was on his site was what was true. And it was all because like I didn't really do my due diligence and kind of read into it even more. I just kind of took it for what it was. And it's sad to hear that they haven't updated the story still, because there's so many people in those comment sections that are just like tearing each other apart over nothing, over absolutely nothing. And I know that's the way of the internet. Yeah. And I know I'm just an innocent bystander that's torturing himself by even reading it, but it's just a dark, dark place. I have to get out of there. And it's a shame that people will just, it's like feeding scraps to the dogs and they're fighting over it. And then it turns out the scraps weren't even dog food. Or what? I don't even know what to say.
Well, yeah. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so if I'm wrong or anything like that, or misconstruing things, let me know. But it was like you were saying, like it was like you saw what I posted, and then you saw what Engadget did as well, and you were more leaning towards like Engadget being in the right, because you're like, oh, it's RMC, like he, he's going to paint Nintendo with the positive stroke rather than Engadget, who's going to say it how it is.
Yeah, that's because I was curious as to why it wasn't a top story, because I was like, if I see it on Reddit, I'm like, oh, it must be a top story, like it's that important, which is asinine. Like, what? Who thinks like that? Anyone could put anything on Reddit. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm like, oh, it must be a top story. Couldn't find it on GoNintendo, and I'm notoriously bad at searching GoNintendo for stories. So I reached out to RMC being like, why isn't this a top story? And I was, I'm always a jerk. So I'm thinking deep down, he doesn't want to make it a top story because he doesn't want people to know that like Nintendo screwed up. But they didn't really. I mean, I guess they screwed up, but they made it better immediately, and it was fine now. So,
and that's the other thing. I mean, like obviously it was popular on Reddit because, it makes for a sensational headline certainly. And it fosters that kind of conversation where people are like, Nintendo hates their fans, Nintendo hates their customers. You spending money makes you an idiot. That's, it's like it's the same as Nintendo's doomed. Like those are always going to happen, and Nintendo's for kids. Those are always going to be there. That's what gets people going. But yeah, I didn't see it as a top story because it's certainly worth reporting on. And again, I'll just very quickly break it down. People who were making new Wii U and 3DS accounts were unable to go online to play. So, is that of note and worth sharing? Certainly. But is it a top story? No, because the amount of people that are making new Wii U and 3DS accounts right now, we're lucky if they're in the double digits. I'll be generous and say triple digits, like 100 here and 100. Like that's not happening. And we know from Nintendo's own data that they sold one new Wii U in September. So that's the potential for one new Wii U customer to make an account to go online and play. And it wasn't, if you already had a Wii U or a 3DS online account, you could still go online and play. It was literally just if you are making one now, you cannot get online. So that was the story, certainly worth mentioning because it's an oddity and it does make you think what's going on. Are they going to shut down online play earlier than they said they were? But that's why I didn't make it a top story. And they didn't, and it was less than 24 hours and the hiccup was fixed. We don't know if it was an accident by Nintendo or we don't know what it was. All we know is now those accounts can go online and play. So that's all there was to it. It was just like a little tiny story.
This is what it's funny. What's funny about all this, if you can find anything funny about it, is in the time that it took me to do all of that stuff that I just told you, this was already done and dusted. It wasn't even a story. Like you said, it lasted an hour. It was fixed. It was over. And here I am on the toilet, like minutes, like hours past when this was irrelevant, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is a huge deal. Like, and like you just explained, not only is it not a huge deal, it's not even top story worthy. It's not like no one should have even heard about this or cared.
Yeah.
And here I am. Thank goodness I was on the toilet because I was pooping myself, if you know what I mean. Reading those comments, each one was worse than the last. I can't even tell you. All these sarcastic, like, oh, they just want to charge you more for the same games forever and ever, and you're an idiot. And I was like, oh my God, why am I doing this to myself? I better text RMC and tell him that he screwed up. And as you can see, that's never the right situation. So I apologize, RMC.
Totally okay.
Made for an interesting conversation, maybe.
Yes.
But hopefully, if there's anyone out there as susceptible as me, you can stop those traits. But like I said, your listener base, I'm sure, is a lot more savvy than I am these days, hopefully.
Fluffernutter says due diligence spelled DEUX. That is fantastic.
Nice.
What you should have done is reached out to your little spiders and flies, like you always say, and see if they had any insight.
Yeah, right? They only get in touch with me on Saturdays at a very specific time for some reason.
The lines are only open for a couple minutes. I saw somebody say, blinded by daylight. I guess you're from another country. If you've already said this in the past, I apologize for not remembering. Cheetos and Cheez-Its are not the same. Cheez-Its are something completely different. They're a square cheese cracker, and Mom Brain has crunched them up to make a base for a
Pulverized.
For a lemon. What's it called?
Square?
A lemon bar, a lemon square. Yes.
Also,
Stu is going to try them.
If you'll note, there's like a little glass jar in there. It's got a mixture of sugar and crushed Cheez-Its for the top. Just
that is as directed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you pick out what you want and you eat it, and you'll come in
And
with
if you
your
don't like
review
it,
when
that's
you're
totally fine.
So yeah, there's that. And there's something that came up right before the podcast started that I will share. Thanks to T27 Duck, who did this, and I didn't know he was doing it. since it is the end of the year, we have the top 20 most read stories on GoNintendo for 2023. I didn't even know he did this. So I found out literally about an hour ago, and I'm going to tell you. These are the biggest stories that were on GoNintendo in terms of actual people clicking through to read the story. Something I won't say details of because I don't want to be woe is me, but obviously I have access to other data that shows how many people came across the story on social media sites, be it X or Facebook or hi, a Solomester link or Threads or anything like that. And I always know that the viewership versus the click-through readership is a vast difference. But the numbers, when you see them, the cold hard numbers when you see them are very depressing. But it is what it is. Numbers. Obviously, like the percentage of who reads a headline on some social media thing versus who actually clicks over to read the article, very, very small. But you might be surprised at how small it is. But here's the top stories, starting with number 20. Again, top 20 stories on GoNintendo for us in 2023. Nintendo issues DMC a takedown request on GitHub, including lockpick tool. So, piracy related. Number 19, Nintendo employee. Oh, this one. So this is a quick mover because this story just came out. A Nintendo employee's kid was behind the Smash Brothers 3DS roster leak. We covered that last week. So that's a very recent story that made the top 20 for the year. Excellent news.
May I ask why do you think that was such an important story?
Because it's the trope. My dad works at Nintendo. That's been the trope since we were little kids. And now this is a real story about it. That's my guess. Plus, it's Smash Brothers related. Plus, it's salacious because it's a leak. It's got everything.
Man, I feel bad for that guy. Well, and the kid too, because like how guilty does a kid feel? And then that dad like lost like a dream job and like, can't be mad, but can be.
Yeah, I'm sure he certainly can be. Number 18, Target offering Adventure Hip Pack with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So people really like their pre-order bonus information. Fan turns Tears of the Kingdom Pura, however you say it, into a VTuber model. And I'll let you figure out why that one's so popular. Rumor, Nintendo Direct speculation points to 2 specific game reveals. That was the next most popular story. Let's see if the reveals were true, because I remember one of them, but not both of them. That one was true. And that one was true. Super Mario Brothers Wonder and Super Mario RPG Remake. So both were true. And we said this source was trusted. And there's 2 more reasons to trust Pioro on Twitter. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection includes a message on insensitive cultural depictions. Come on. Of course it's going to be popular on the internet because there's going to be a whole argument about wokeness and all that stupid garbage. So there you go. Nintendo's 2023 releases see a wave of review bombing on Metacritic. Why? Why is that popular? Because it's people being angry about something. That's what the internet loves. This is depressing. Nintendo warns of unauthorized financial transactions that could get your Nintendo account suspended. Important information. One of my favorite stories of the year. Very happy to see it to be one of our most read. Man playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gets hit with adult content complaint from their neighbor. Remember the noises that some of the characters make. Next one, most popular, the Super Mario Brothers movie coming soon to Peacock. So people are excited to watch that. Pokemon fan creates life-size coughing that emits real gas. I did think that was a fun story. And it was, I believe I made a GIF of that to go along with the post on Twitter. So that makes a difference. Super Mario Brothers movie concept art leaks revealing cut characters and more. Tears of the Kingdom fans are now building functional in-game computers. See, that's my kind of top story, exciting one. That's very cool stuff that very talented people are making. That's a fun story.
That's an original internet story. That's like,
yes,
when the internet was young.
Here's one that surprised me, and multiple times over. There are often people who are like, why do you report on every game's update? We know games get updated. It doesn't matter. Literally, one of the top stories of the year for us was Tears of the Kingdom gets updated, and we gave the breakdown of what was in the update.
Oh,
Well, it's Tears of the Kingdom.
everyone pause what they're doing and look in the Discord. We have a
Beans.
beautiful curly bean.
Grandimus shares
Ooh.
captains.
It's so good.
Beautiful. Made my brains day.
It's got the little doo-doo claws. So good.
This is one of my brain's top stories of the year. You gonna be all right there?
I just really like the little doo-doo claws.
Pure joy. Next top story, or next biggest story, was Nintendo's Iris prototype discovered in working order. So that one's cool. About a bit of Nintendo history that made it out to the grander internet. It was the code name for the GBA SP. So we got a little look at that. So that's cool. I like seeing that one in there. Next most popular story, another update one. Switch firmware update 16.0.3 gets a rebootless update. So it wasn't even the main firmware update. It was the rebootless update to a previous firmware update. Rebootless updates are ones that Nintendo do not announce, but data miners go in and find out what happened. Oatmeal Dome is the go-to guy or girl or person for getting information
That's
on
you.
rebootless
You're an Oatmeal
updates.
Dome.
And usually in rebootless updates, we find out that the censored word list has been changed. And that's what happened here as well. So in actuality, not a big story. I did not make it a top story, but the internet loves knowing things that they know they're not supposed to know. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't like that? Nintendo. What does that mean? Why is RMC saying that? Well, you'll have to extrapolate your own data.
Oh.
Next biggest story was comparison of Breath of the Wild versus Tears of the Kingdom. Another Zelda Tears of the Kingdom update was even higher on the list. Our second biggest story of the year, Nintendo explains their Dolphin emulator DMCA says the project stifles innovation. So emulators, Nintendo swooping in to protect their IP. The 1-2 punch for people to be angry about. So there you go. And the number one story on GoNintendo this year. Argentine TV channel broadcasts the Super Mario movie in its entirety. Still don't know how it happened, but the movie was in theaters and a TV channel in Argentina showed the whole movie.
That's amazing.
Want to know why this is extra funny? Because we had to take this story down. So our biggest story was one we had to remove.
Wow.
But there you go. Funny how that works out.
Why?
I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it on the podcast. I can talk about it with you afterwards. But yes.
Man, I'll have to ask you.
The amount of stories I get asked to remove on any given week is a lot. The amount of stories I am threatened with legal repercussions is a decent amount every week. The ones where I actually have to move on, very few. This was one of them. So that's as much as I can say about that.
So sometimes you get asked and you don't take them down.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Every week I get asked and there's stuff I don't take down. I am very selective with what I report and how I report it. And I will not take down. I stand by my stories 99% of the time. But I am always open to listening why the company or whatever rights holder wants me to take it down or feels I should take something down. If anything is like, if we got any piece of information because something was stolen or something like that, okay, I understand that. I get it. But there are ones where it's just like, we don't want that information out there. I will never take that down. Thankfully, I've never had to deal with legal repercussions. I've been threatened in those circumstances. I stood my ground. As a matter of fact, just I guess maybe a week ago, I told my brain, hey, I'm going to be potentially in legal trouble for another story. Just giving you a heads up because I don't know what's going to happen. I won't know until next year. It's the fun part of running a website. It happens all the time. But this one in particular is, I would say, more worrisome than usual, but we'll see what happens. The story stays up. That's all I can tell you. The story stays up. So yes, if you ever wanted to run a website, don't. I don't know what else to say. I've been very lucky. One time I came incredibly close to getting sued. This was over a decade ago, but like I was a wreck. Like I was a walking disaster. I could not hold it together. Every day I was waiting for an update to be like, what's going to happen here? And it got worse before it got better. And thankfully, everything was just dropped at the last
Were
minute.
you in the wrong on that one?
No. Well, that's the thing. Yes and no. Not knowingly in the wrong. Found out later someone else that I was involved with did not do something they were supposed to do. So technically speaking, I was in the wrong. I corrected what happened when I found out about it, but the damage was done. So it was going to be like a lot of money, and legally I was screwed if they decided to pursue it. And we were straightforward with them with what happened and explained the whole situation. They were very unhappy about what happened, and I understand why, but it was like a month and a half of waiting to see what was going to happen. And 2 days before it was like, something's going to happen. They just were like, forget it. We're just going to done and dusted. And what a relief. Yeah. So not fun, but yes, haven't had anything that bad since then, but we'll see where this 2024 one goes. So there you go. That's the fun of running a website, everybody. Cause I write about the newest Barbie game or whatever. There's never been a legal Barbie threat. Just saying.
You
Barbie.
underestimate the power of the
do your review of your lemon bar?
Yeah, not bad. I'm not the biggest fan of just the sour with the Cheez-It flavor. I'd rather have just a more traditional graham cracker for my lemon bar, I think. What might be interesting would be the Cheez-It crust in a cheesecake instead, just to go for the full cheesiness. But yeah, it wasn't bad at all. It was pretty good. I just I don't know. It just didn't need. I don't think it needed to be there. You know, it didn't really add much. I like the lemon by itself. I like Cheez-Its by itself. So together, it wasn't bad. But I don't think it made either one of them better. And I don't think it was as good as the sum of its parts or whatever. It's or
yeah,
I'm trying to say.
It's not bad.
Individual parts.
It's not something where you'd be like, you gotta have this. It's great, but it's not. It's not as offensive as you would expect it to be.
Not at all.
I was gonna say you should go to Cheez-Its website and read their recipes.
They
have
had
some really
recipes
interesting ones
that looked really
I
good.
got them right here. We'll do whatever on the show.
I before you.
No, go ahead. I'm joking.
I would like to see the Cheez-It crust or some kind of a Cheez-It crust with like an apple pie, because cheese and apples seem to be
bad.
Right. Like people enjoy those together. That might be a better application.
These are the official Cheez-It recipes on their website. Oven baked Cheez-It chicken tenders with buffalo sauce and homemade ranch. So that seems fine. Crispy cheese and beef Cheez-It tacos. That seems good. Cheez-It s'mores. I feel like that falls in with this.
Yeah,
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Lemon bars.
You can't, and I mean, a s'more is so good. Like, do we have to start messing with some of these things? Like, I don't mind messing with them, but like, let me know when you get something that's better than the s'more.
Well, yeah, I'm sure half of these are Cheez-It thinks they're good, and half of them are people will talk about this if they find it. Cheez-It Party Mix Holiday Puppy Chow. That's inoffensive. It's just like
puppy chow.
But puppy chow
pretzels and peanuts.
No, puppy chow is sweet.
Yeah, all that's in here too. You didn't let me continue. It's got chocolate and it's got some other candy in it, peppermint and stuff.
Gross.
Cheez-It apple pie. There you go. Cheez-It apple pie. Cheese crusted mac and cheese balls. Yes,
please.
Perfect.
All of them.
Strawberry Pop-Tart ice cream cupcakes with Cheez-It crust.
Like
that, I would try it, but that's wild.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary.
Extra big Cheez-It s'mores cookies. So we already did s'mores. Here's one Mom Brain I'm sure would try. Cheez-It crusted oven fried pickles.
I love
pickles. Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds like it.
In fact, I kind of had that last night. I had girl dinner last night. I had a pile of Cheez-Its, a pickle, and 3 pieces of sliced like deli
You're eating
cheese.
like a rat.
Yeah, it was great.
Cheez-It mini quiches with red pepper and scallions. Sure. And then the one I think probably sounds the best to me, Cheez-It crusted mozzarella sticks. That sounds
I
fantastic.
can't go wrong.
Sounds amazing. I mean,
Sounds
how can you
amazing.
go wrong with melted cheese or
Mhm.
melted fried cheese? Yeah, it's
I never
perfect.
have before.
So there you go. That's your Cheez-It recipes,
I've got
everybody.
melted cheese from Domino's before.
That's right. You ate literally a bowl of cheese
I
from me.
can't believe that.
And
was
I do not knock you for
I mean, I had to be the only person that fell for that, right? Like, come on. They definitely were joking with that. We'll just put, cheese in one of those to-go tins and heat it up. Like, that's I can't even believe I ate that.
What did you eat it with? Like, did you eat it with like a spoon, or did it come with bread, or?
I think it came with dip and bread. I want to say it came with like little like breadsticks kind of.
Don't worry, Deux. You're not the only one who fell for it because it is still part of the menu.
Man, that's so funny.
You
But I
are-
mean, I shouldn't be upset because in my dark days, I've done that before. I've told you about it. I would just like microwave cheese and eat it, and that's
it's not your dark days, and I don't like that you feel like that. Your experience is universal. People do
must
that
be.
kind of stuff all the
Well,
time.
like poverty
There's-
nachos are the best.
There's people all the time who talk about waking up at 3 a.m. and going to the bag or going to the fridge and taking out the bag of shredded cheese
Yeah.
and just eating handfuls of it.
baby.
Like, we're all there. We've all done it.
Yeah, see, Nintendo, exactly. Microwave. It's just tortilla chips with sprinkled cheese on top. Whatever you have will do. Those are poverty nachos. They're the best. They're so
There's
good.
nothing
Yeah,
wrong with it.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
it's chips and cheese. Like
Yeah.
anything with cheese, really. Where are you
Mm.
going to go wrong? You're
No,
not.
you can't. You can't. Unless, of course, you're mixing it with a lemon bar. Then you're wrong. You're so wrong that
All right,
you
all
could
right, all
probably
right.
never be
It's
right
not
again.
wrong. It's not wrong.
It's wrong.
I like them. I'm going to eat them. You don't have to.
Wrong.
It's fine. All right. So we did some video game news. We did some weird news. We did some personal news. Now let's do the top stories. Mom Brain, can you please take me to top stories? Thank you. Not too many this week.
Excuse me. That one's got a
I watch you make them. Thank you.
This one's a good one. This one reminds me of
Mom
Night in the
Brain
Woods.
again refuses to tell the audio listeners what she's talking about. We have wrapping paper on the table, and it has cat faces on it. And Mom Brain has added things to them like teeth and smiles and tongues and stuff. There you go. Okay, our first top story. Yes, Famitu magazine, the longest running gaming magazine in Japan, has dished out some awards, including their Super Popular Game Awards 2023. I'll take the popular. This involves 188 Japanese game creators and celebrities in Japan, all of which who voted on the games that they found to be the best in 2023. And coming out above all else, number one, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. What a time to be alive. An era when The Legend of Zelda is the most popular game in Japan. It's all thanks to Breath of the Wild. They went from not really caring about the franchise for decades to absolutely adoring it. Number one game, the, again, Famitsu Super Popular Game Awards, number one game. Rounding out your top five, Final Fantasy 16 in number 2. Super Mario Brothers Wonder at number 3. Armored Core 6 at number 5. And why did I skip 4? Because it's one near and dear to the table's heart. Suika Game was voted number 4.
By the way, I played it on the TV for the first time ever and realized that the cherry's face is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It is amazing how much more you see on the TV.
I was just going to ask, do you play on the TV? I don't know if you play handheld or on the TV.
Normally I play handheld because I'm listening to like a podcast on the TV.
Mhm.
But sometimes I'll have a podcast on the app and I'll stream that to like a little Bluetooth speaker, and then I'll switch to the TV for Suika Game, and that's when I can't even pay attention to the podcast because the Suika gets too good.
You're not the only one. Now my whole family's been sucked into it. My mom, my sister, her husband, they're all sweaking it up.
Yeah, it's
We all
it's
squeak
good.
it on. Well,
It's fun.
Nintendo and I were squeaking. We're squeaking on Christmas.
I'll be squeaking. I'm a little upset that they took away the holiday
Mhm.
update so soon. I
Mhm.
feel like we
Oh,
could
it's
have
already
made
gone?
it to the new year before they took it away. Yeah. But
Wow, no Nurkles at that development
right.
team.
miracles.
Sokar says, cheater, the Super Mario should be the top, not that wimpy guy Link. Well, Japan has spoken. You're
Now,
going to have to vote in another
Do they
category.
just? This is not. I know for a fact this isn't just straight Nintendo, right? This
It's all
list.
games, yeah, because
So,
the
like,
list I mentioned had non-Nintendo
This
games.
Baldur's Gate 3, where the heck is that? That's game of the year, apparently. Jeff Knightley. Son,
He didn't.
why doesn't
he
he
didn't
talk to
vote.
the Japanese?
Do you have
They don't
something?
they don't like Baldur's Gate 3 over there. They know it was the #1 game of the year, right?
Well, I'll bite here. You seem a little angry that this game is getting so much praise. Is it because
No,
you
I
want
was
Tears
actually-
of the Kingdom to get praise?
No, I was looking into the game.
Oh.
Actually, it looks pretty interesting. I'd like to play it myself, but I know it's a huge game and it's not even top 5 over there. Do they just, they just not into it? I guess.
Here's the thing. I don't know if there's a localization over there. There might not be.
Well,
So
there
that would
certainly
be
isn't a physical copy.
that would be the place to start. Let's see. Baldur's Gate 3, Japan. There's a Famitu review. I see stories about it being censored in Japan. Let's see, Japanese release date. Yes, it's out there, but it only just came out December 21st. I'm sure it will do well, but it is a very Western-centric RPG, so I don't think it's going to be all that popular over there. They're going to lean more towards like Elden Ring or Demon Souls or stuff like that, which have a very Japanese feel to them. Baldur's Gate is very like, tabletop, traditional English RPG, that kind of setting. So those are my guesses, but that's all I got for you. Speaking of RPGs, Chrono Trigger, one of the biggest and best and most beloved RPGs of all time. Never been a true sequel. There's the pseudo sequel in Chrono Cross, but people have wanted a sequel to Chrono Trigger forever. A true sequel. Will one happen? Well, some very big names just got together recently. Chrono Trigger creators Yuji Horii, so the man behind the Dragon Quest franchise. Hironobu Sakaguchi, another name that needs no introductions for Japanese RPG fans, and Kazuhiko Torishima. All three worked on the original Chrono Trigger. They recently met up in person for the first time in 30 years. So they've seen each other and they've talked to each other over the years, but all three of them have not been in the same place in 30 years. They got together to talk about a bunch of things, including Chrono Trigger. Torishima joked that Chrono Trigger 2 would be easy to do since Square and Enix have merged. That's very true. Back in the day, it was Squaresoft, so Enix was doing their own thing.
Why is that a joke?
What's a joke?
Torishima joked.
Oh, because it's funny.
Because it's never going to happen.
No, because back in the day, they were two separate companies. And it's funny that all these years later, now it's just one company. So there'd be
that was a
a
joke,
whole
man.
thing that would have proven difficult nowadays had they not merged. Isn't even a thing. Sakaguchi was not so sure about that, saying, I don't know if it'd be so easy to make. Or maybe he's saying, I don't think that's a joke. Torishima said he'd have to call up Akira Toriyama to bring him along because he's another important part of the game. All three devs said nowadays they'd like to work on a small game with a small team, and Sakaguchi joked, let's make a simple Chrono Trigger 2. Now that's even more of a joke because he's like, of course it wouldn't be simple.
Mm-hmm.
The first game wasn't simple at all, but if you're making a sequel to one of the most beloved games of all time, it's not a simple project.
But 30 years later makes it even more difficult, you'd think, for a lot of different reasons.
Oh, a whole bunch, yeah. The others laughed and replied by saying they'd like to tackle something for Switch and mobile, and they said Chrono Trigger 2 would probably end up becoming much bigger. Eventually, all three devs said it would be difficult to see them doing Chrono Trigger 2, and the trio said if they ever did make something together again, they'd want it to be something brand new. So in other words, they're like, Chrono Trigger 2, that'd be cool to do. We're probably never going to do it, and if we all got together again, we'd want to do something new. So if there's ever going to be a Chrono Trigger 2, don't expect it to involve these guys, or at least if it involves some of the development team, it's not going to have all of them.
So what's that? Can these guys make a bunch of money making mobile games or something really easy?
Oh, they've all been making. No, they all still work. No, like I said, Horii is the main man on Dragon Quest games. He's been making all the mainline Dragon Quest games since they've been around. So, and Sakaguchi has done other big name games for Square Enix. He's done his own games as well on consoles and mobile. They're all doing their own thing. And what's his face, Torishima has a prolific career in the industry as well. They're not all just like farting out little stuff.
It's one of those things where, as somebody with no frame of reference like myself, looking out from the outside looking in, it's like,
yeah,
why don't these three guys just make Chrono Trigger 2? What's the problem? And it's like, these guys haven't spoken in 30 years. They're like totally in different spots of their lives. They probably don't even care to go back and do this sequel. They're concentrating on other things. But
well, Sakaguchi did so much at Squaresoft and Square Enix, and then he branched out to do his own things as well. Like he, basically, if there's been any big name RPG that's come out of Japan in the last 30 years, one of these guys is involved with it. They're still very much active in the game industry. They also talked a bit about Sea of Stars, which was greatly influenced by Chrono Trigger and other RPGs of that 16-bit era. Hori said the devs did a great job as it looks just like Chrono Trigger. Torishima says that the game found the game to be very nostalgic for him. And Sakaguchi said, quote, "Look, it's the same," end quote, and said the devs really did their best and did a great job.
It sounds like they're like, we can't make Chrono Trigger 2 better than Sea of Stars. And Sea of Stars is basically what we would want to do. So, so enjoy Sea of Stars is what they're saying.
Sea of Stars is absolutely excellent. But I would say from a story and innovation perspective, it doesn't hold a candle to Chrono Trigger. From a battle mechanic perspective, I might give the nod to Sea of Stars. Like, if Sea of Stars came out back in the day, I have no doubt it'd be talked about as one of the greatest RPGs ever, sure. But like Chrono Trigger isn't just talked about as one of the best, or hasn't just remained one of the best RPGs because of one element. Like, it was innovative and something new for the industry and even new for the genre even back then. Like, it was an upper echelon and a new breakthrough for an already established genre that had a whole bunch of amazing titles in it. So, it's like, how do I put this? There's Super Mario World, which is fantastic. But then there's Super Mario 64, which was a revelation for the industry. So there's like Final Fantasy 3, major title, worth all kinds of praise. But then there's Chrono Trigger, which was like, oh, this is the next step for the genre. So that's the best way I can put it. And I love Sea of Stars, one of my favorites of the year, easy. But still, I would say Chrono Trigger is the better game in some regards.
Did you finish Sea of Stars?
Oh, yeah. I just didn't do that wild goose chase at the end.
That's right.
Still haven't watched the other end because I'm struggling with that internally. But what's going to happen? Probably will never watch it and just always wonder what happened. Because
as long as you beat yourself,
as long as I torture
it,
myself, yeah. Here's a story that's certainly been making the rounds and has been quite popular in general and for us. There was this study that found playing Super Mario Odyssey can cut depression symptoms by nearly 50%.
I love this story.
Really cool story. A German study called Effects of Video Game Intervention on Symptoms, Training, Motivation, and Visuospatial Memory in Depression was published. And the study involved a 6-week video game intervention to see if playing games helped with depressed mood, training motivation, and visuospatial memory functions in individuals with major depressive disorder. I'm going to read most of this as I want to make sure I get the facts correct rather than, sounding like pseudoscience. So people played, it's a study. So there's test groups. There's people who played Super Mario Odyssey. There's people who did nothing, and there's people who went with more traditional methods of trying to alleviate some elements of depression.
Where is the study published?
I got a link here. SciPost has all the information. I have all the sources you need in the article, I promise. So here's what happened. Of those who played Super Mario Odyssey, it was found that players saw a more significant reduction in depression symptoms compared to participants who used cognitive training computer programs or underwent standard treatments for these symptoms. So basically what the industry usually does to help people alleviate these symptoms versus playing Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey did better. Along with that, those who played Super Mario Odyssey also saw higher levels of training motivation. The study showed that participants with high levels of depressive symptoms saw the biggest decrease by playing Super Mario Odyssey, with depression levels dropping by nearly half when compared to the other two groups. So So obviously this is a major breakthrough. We've known that games have been used in studies for depression, but we haven't seen it examined this deeply and to this degree. So there's really, and now again, there's a whole bunch of questions like, is it specifically Super Mario Odyssey? Is it just the act of playing a video game? Does the genre of video game matter? Does the time of day when people play matter? Does the repetition matter? Does the progression that these people see in the game matter? All this needs to be studied. There's a whole bunch going on here. But what's most important is we now know it deserves more than ever to be studied. There's something here that shows that perhaps on a greater scheme or on a grander stage, gaming can help to alleviate symptoms of depression. Permanently, we don't know, but it could be in some cases yes, in some cases no. But there's things to glean from this study. This is a eye-opening study and an important one that will further what happens from here on out. We've seen Tetris used before as a way to alleviate symptoms of stress and how that can make some really positive strides with people who have PTSD. So it's very cool to see these studies going on, and it's even cooler to know that people can get some relief from this kind of thing. So don't think you can just go play Super Mario Odyssey and your problems will be fixed. I want to be very clear about that. But the studies are being done, the research is being looked into, and there's a path forward for seeing what games can do for depression.
So a quick look at the
Rubric.
published study. Whoa. They actually just refer to 3D video gaming group. So they're not specifically saying, I think Mario was the game that they chose to use for the study.
Yes.
But it's not Mario specifically. Like, it's not a Mario game. It's the actual act of 3D gaming.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't know how much that is true. Like, you know, if somebody played Ridge Racer or Doom or
Last of Us
The
2.
Witcher or The Last of Us, yeah, like, is there? That's what I'm
with
saying.
any of the dogs,
Well,
that your depression's spiking up.
That's what I'm
So-
saying. Is there something intrinsically to 3D gaming or to Mario or to the type of Mario game this was? There's a whole bunch of layers to it we don't know.
Well, the conclusion, the actual like published conclusion was, besides a standalone cognitive training, the current findings suggest that cognitive trainings using a video game have potential to increase subjective well-being, show higher levels of training motivation, and lead to improvements in visuospatial memory functions in MDD.
Yes, that's what I said.
So-
but again, I don't think every game would do that.
However, given the mixed and unblinded nature of the study, the results should be interpreted with caution. Further research with larger samples and follow-up measurements is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be the same with like music. Like you could listen to music that'd help you and music that wouldn't. So,
Yeah.
and everybody's different. So, but
Moon Beach from Streets of Rage, that would cure my depression in a second.
But
And-
more importantly, there's something there. There's a nugget of something there to perform more studies on and potentially get to something that could really help people.
For the record, the assessment tool used was the Beck Depression Inventory.
Ooh,
So that was
Okay.
like what they used to get their data.
So you're saying they're
Those
a
guys are
loser.
losers.
Oh,
Oh,
we did it.
baby.
Very
Conan
funny,
Giga
very
says,
funny.
I'm playing games for as long as I remember, and good ones help me through some tough times. Mediocre or bad ones, however, have the adverse effect and made me feel like garbage even more. I always have one or two feel-good games to fall back to. In such cases, yep, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Interesting.
Same thing with TV shows and movies. People have their feel-good movies and TV shows that they return to because it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel nice. It makes them feel less depressed or whatever it may be. So yes, more to learn here, but an interesting study nonetheless, and positive outlook for the future. Cool stuff.
I wonder how Super Mario Wonder is. I mean, how could you be depressed playing that?
Right? So whimsical. That's what we need. A test study where it's multiple Mario games to see which one makes people less depressed. Here we go. Japan. Nintendo put together the 2023 download
Japan.
rankings. So these are the most purchased games on the Switch in Japan for 2023. Please don't look.
You didn't put him in the list for him. How am
I
supposed to
know. That's why, because I want people to go look on their own.
People.
My job is not to take other people's information and use it as my own. My job is to direct you to the greater sources of information, unless I am the originator.
Your job is
Now
is
you are a
propping
real
propping
hero.
yourself up as a modern day Bob Barker. That's what your
So-
job seems to be.
Price is Right, holiday week. Again, very quickly, let me say this again. First, I'm a week. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm a week behind
So
in
don't
Price is Right.
spoil it.
And don't spoil it. So many stories, like whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna do it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this little segue. Price is Right. I've been watching Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal. I'm on the treadmill, as I said. I'm a week behind on each of them because I alternate. One day is Price is Right. One day is Let's Make a Deal. Very quickly, if you were wondering, I'm another week. I've watched another week of Let's Make a Deal. Last time I told you, no one has gotten the big deal yet. And I'm here to report that still no one has gotten the big deal. That makes 3 weeks, no big deal. Can't believe it. Shocked that no one has landed on it yet. It's a 33% chance and nobody can get it.
What's
But
Wayne Brady doing over there?
man, he's a really good host. I
Yeah.
really like him.
He's great.
Nice, funny, cares about the winners. I like him. He's good.
Non-threatening.
Non-threatening. Yes, Price is Right. Two things about the Price is Right. You said Bob Barker. It's holiday week. Longtime Price is Right fans know that on holiday week they also do dog adoption week, and that is what they're doing. The dog that they had on the second day was named Bob Barker.
Oh,
And Drew was like, "That's really the dog's name." The guy's like, "That is the
That's
dog's
so
name, Bob
great.
Barker." So Bob Barker was up for adoption. I'm sure he's found a home now. So good for Bob Barker. The
He's
other
about to be
thing
neutered.
was Mom Brain.
We should have done that to the real
wanna-
Bob ages ago.
You want to tell the story about? I believe you were nervous or wondering what was going on, and then yes, hello, Ibsters. When you heard noises from downstairs,
No, I wasn't worried. I just so
It's like Home Alone.
yeah, a couple weeks ago, I was upstairs doing something. I don't remember what, and Ramit was on the treadmill in the basement, and
hi Zikamuto.
I was like, so I thought I heard something downstairs, and I was like, everything all right down there? And I just kept doing what I was doing, and then I was like, nope, that I definitely heard something, and it was clapping. Ramit on the treadmill
It was clapping.
claps when exciting things
I
happen.
love it.
On
That
game
show
shows.
gets me.
Mhm.
Yeah. And was it the same day when I walked up and I was like verklempt?
Mhm.
So I'm watching it. They had the most quintessential Price is Right contestant, an old sweet lady that they give her leeway because she's old and she says like whatever she wants. So she's really reacting to everything. She was struggling to get up on stage. She got there and like the game was high low. So your goal, there's 6 items. Your goal is to pick the 3 highest price and hope the other ones aren't that, because then you win. She ended up losing, but everything she was picking, like the price is revealed later, and she's like, "Oh my God, $6! That used to be $2.49." Like, but with everything, she's like, $2 for a pack of gum that used to be $39. I was like, "Oh,
That's
this lady's so
great.
great." And then she gets up to spin the wheel, and she's like, "Drew, can you stand behind me? I'm probably this isn't gonna go
Nice.
well." I was like, this lady could not be any more quintessential Price is Right. And she won her showcase showdown, and then she got to the showcase and she won that as well. And it was just so great. It's like you could not ask for more of a classic Price is Right moment. So I'm downstairs. I clap like every day. There's always at least one contestant where I'm like, God, I want this
can
person to win.
confirm this.
Somebody spins a wheel or $1 on a wheel, I'm clapping. This week, somebody spun a 65 and the person in first had a 90. So you got to spin again. They spun a 35 and like the little ticker on the wheel was just about to click over. So I'm like, and it hung on. They got $1. So I'm clapping. She wins at that. It's great. It's great. But
For
this old lady
$1.
goes up there. She wins, whatever. I come upstairs. I was so emotional. I couldn't even talk to Mom Brain. She looked at me and she goes, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "It's good. It's good." I was like, "It's the best Price is Right contestant." I couldn't help it.
That's so great.
That show, well, plenty of shows do that to me, but I'm going to do a TikTok about it eventually. There's just something so pure about the Price is Right as a game show where it's just an hour of happy An hour of fun. The host and everybody else wants to see the people win. It's just a great like combination of humanity and
It's the
fun.
best.
It's a game show that's fun. It's just
very
all
fun.
about fun.
It's unpredictable yet familiar, and they do an amazing job. Drew's good at it too. You feel like you know the contestant without the boring so
Yes.
where are you from?
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself. Like there's something about their personalities that you can glean stuff from them just in their interactions, like from the whatever it's called, the bidders row all the way to the end. It's a really special show.
Hi Bachi. He can't vamp for crap. Like he doesn't know how to do it. It's fine. It's kind of endearing, to be honest. But when it comes to talking to people, he can do that. Like people will come up and say like, I'm from here, I'm from there. And he's like, oh man, it's great there. I went and did like he'll have a conversation great. Like some old guy got up there and he's like, Drew, I gotta know, what was your first kind of car? And he's like, oh, it's a Ford I got for $500. He's like, I get in it every morning and I pray that it start up. He's like, but look where I am now. So just those little things. I'm like, that's great. And you can tell he really does care when the contestants win or lose. Like he's in it for him. He's there. Like there's some kid who is playing for a car.
You could say he kind of feels that high along with them.
As good as I was racking my brain for a joke.
Anytime anybody bids 420, he gets a big kick out of it.
Oh, I bet he does.
But they were playing 3 strikes, the baseball game, where if you get 3 red X's, it's over. And the kid had 1 X left and all they had to do, it was a 50-50 shot, pull out the number or pull out the X. And he pulled out the X. And everybody in the audience was so deflated. And Drew, you could tell he wanted to be like, son of a bitch. Like he just wanted to curse it because he's like, oh,
didn't Bob used to
so
just give
painful.
People
every once in a while? Bob would be like, you know what, you won anyway, and give it to Drew.
That's a Grandma Myrtle.
I've seen Drew do that, but when there's a mistake, like if something falls, like if one of the price tags falls, he's like, oh, you get that then, whatever. He's like, that's fine.
Right.
I haven't seen him be when somebody flat out loses and he's like, take the prize, you win. But he's good. It's a great show. It's such a great way to pass the hour on the treadmill, but it's more than that. It's an institution in America without a doubt, but it's institutions tend to be things that you're like, they're always there. And then you tend to not interact with them anymore. Like this is worth interacting with. I feel it's like Mario. I feel like it'll brighten that portion of your day. It's just,
we have TVs in the cafeteria at school. And I was like, we should be showing The Price is Right every day.
What's that station? Pluto. Put on Pluto and you have Price is Right all day long.
Nice.
They got the 2 channels. They got the Barker era and then the Drew era, so you could do whatever you want. Anyway, that's my aside, of which I always do too many. Most downloaded Switch games in Japan for 2023. I'm looking for guesses in the top 10.
We already discussed this in the car, right?
Okay, we'll start with you. Yes, she knows one of them.
Tears of the Kingdom.
What do you mean?
I know all of them. We
no,
talked about
no,
them.
you don't. You know, maybe 2 at most.
Okay.
Tears of the Kingdom, yes, is number 2. So, Mom Brain, guess all the ones that you don't know then. Hi, Drake. Hi, Anastasia Beaverhausen.
Let's go with
Switch only, remember.
Splatoon.
That's a good answer.
Splatoon 3, number 7. Yes, you got in there. Do?
Kirby and the Forgotten Realm. Was that this year?
Not number. It's Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is number 20.
Oh man,
So.
I thought in Japan they loved Kirby. Is
It's
Forgotten
it's
Realm
older.
last year?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Kirby's
that's
Return to
embarrassing.
Dreamland Deluxe is this year.
Wow.
Mom Brain?
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. Number 16, yes. Do?
Oh man, Super Mario RPG.
Super Mario RPG, number 9, yes.
All right.
Mom Brain.
I won't say the one I know.
That's what I asked.
Fae Farm.
Fae Farm, the game that just came out. No Fae Farm. If you can name one more, you're the winner.
Pokemon. Latest Pokemon.
Yes, Pokemon Scarlet. No, Pokemon Violet is here. Yes.
You gave it to me.
You are the winner. Neither of you guessed the number one. Mom Brain knows what number one is. The number one game of the year in Japan?
Pikmin. Suika game?
Suika
No way.
game. It's $3.
I guess it is $3.
And it's at like 5.5 million right now. So
wow.
Yes, Tears of the Kingdom number 2, obviously. Big downloads on that game as well, but it is a $70 game, and you can get it physically. Number 3, Pikmin 4.
Really? That's
a
big time.
huge one. Third biggest game of the year, Pikmin 4.
Take that, Baldur's
Crazy.
Gate 3.
Only Switch, by the way. Again, one more time.
Take
only
that,
Switch.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Number 4, I don't know why nobody guessed this. Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh, that came out.
Number 5, Dragon Quest Monsters 3. So a recent addition, but still in the top 5. Number 6, another one I'm surprised nobody guessed, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 7, Splatoon. Number 8, Overcooked 2. Number 9, Super Mario RPG. Number 10, Fire Emblem Engage. Number 11, Monster Hunter Rise. Number 12, Breath of the Wild. Number 13, Pokemon Scarlet. Number 14, Mega Man Battle Network Volume 2. Good for Mega Man. Number 15, Sea House G's. Number 16, Animal Crossing. Number 17, one of the Phoenix Wright games. Number 18, Minecraft. Number 19, Mega Man Battle Network Volume 1. 2 Mega Man games. They are collections, but 2 Mega Man games in the top 20. Good for you, Nintendo fans. Good for you. I know that game did really well on every system, but that's excellent. Love seeing it. And as we said, number 20, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. So quite the stellar list there. Lots of Nintendo titles, some third-party titles, and number 1 is a third-party game that came out of nowhere and dominated. So that is awesome to see.
Very cool.
North America, what do we got this week? I'll tell you because it's very short. Bloopy and Droopy.
Oh.
Chico and the Magic Orchards DX. By the way, yes, that came out yesterday. Chico and the Magic Orchards DX is inspired by the Legend of Zelda Game Boy games. Check out a trailer. I've heard excellent stuff. I will be downloading it tonight. I'm really excited. I think it's $5 maybe. Right up my alley. Love Game Boy style Zelda games. Love Game Boy aesthetic. So it's right up my alley. Found it. Miss Bloody. That's MISBLOODY. Pinball M.
Miss Bloody.
Tiny Treasure Hunt. And finally, Zombie Dead Smasher Shooter Premium Edition. Why do we not have European releases this week? Because Nintendo didn't decide to put them out.
No, but how are we supposed to know which year of our Lord it is?
Wait, not until next year will we know. Bless you, Mom Brain. And Nintendo ends this year on a literal and figurative high point. Guys, after 6+ years of the Switch, Nintendo has done it. Nintendo's stock on the last day of trading in 2023 reached its highest point in company history. That's right. Worthy of whistle tones. Nintendo's previous high was in the Wii DS era when they were riding high because of Wii and DS sales. But the Switch and its momentum and the success of the software and the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie and everything else that Nintendo's been doing has pushed its stock to literally the highest point ever. Nintendo stock has never reached a higher high. So this could be forever. This record may be there forever. But
we've got diamond hands, bros.
That's crazy. Many were wondering, will Nintendo actually surpass the Wii DS era high and achieve Iwata's dream of once again hitting Nintendo-like profits? As he said. There you go. That's it. So I can only hope I know what the top comment says. Bieber says, I own some Nintendo stocks and this sounds like fake news to me since they had a higher value just a while ago. Yeah, there is a bump. You're right. Just man, not that long ago, they had a high that was slightly below their Wii DS era. But as I knew, some people would doubt it. That's why I literally included the stock graph to show you that it reached above its peak in company history. Not the comment I was hoping for, though. The comment I was hoping for was Nintendo is doomed, of course.
Thank you so much for buying my stock.
Nintendo, this comes from Zikamuto for some specifics. The stock's previous peak for was 7170 yen in 2007. Today's peak on the Japanese stock exchange was 7386. So there you go. Not incredibly higher, but definitely higher.
Hey, real quick.
Zikamuno knows some stuff about stock. I'm reading the rest of his comment. I'm like, what does this mean? Am I in trouble here?
No.
All right.
Ibsters has joined us after a long hiatus and has been sort of talking about being a little bit sad after the loss of their mom. And has been saying, I think I'm going to stay here a while. The sound of RMC's voice brings back memories from happier times in my life. And then I know that sounded weird, which is not weird at all.
No, I know what you mean.
Also, Ibsters was talking about not being able to like play games.
It happens, my friend.
From, just being like depressed and sad. And I just feel like we need to call out the fact that that's a very normal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's sad and it sucks, but that's like a very normal thing to happen to people.
Doesn't matter what leads you there. It's something that is a universal experience, and it doesn't feel universal because for a long time, there was a stigma against talking about that. And it's all about, don't cry and stiff upper lip and keep that between you and family and all that stuff. And only in the last 20 years or so, people have really been like, I want to talk about this when I'm not feeling good. I don't want to hide that I'm not feeling good.
I've been in therapy for a very, very, very long time, and it's a wonderful thing.
I've talked about it more so this past year than ever. I've certainly had plenty of times when I don't feel right, and it's quite. To be completely honest, it's been quite often in the last year and a half. I don't have the energy that I used to. I get very depressed. I'm in a constant state of not feeling like myself to a more or less degree. And you live through it and you work through it and you talk to friends or family and you open up about that stuff because that's how, hi, Sinfield, that's even if you only get a tiny modicum of relief, that is valuable. That's important.
Yeah. And you try to find things that are not harmful to you, that that make you feel good, that feel comfortable. And then those little moments of feeling good and feeling comfortable can add up. And I don't think there's ever been a time in my life when I've gone downhill and noticed it all of a sudden been like, oh, I've gone downhill. It's this slow progression until you're so miserable that you're like, oh, I could look back and say that I've been going downhill for a long time. And the same thing happens on the uphill side. When things are getting better, it's not until you've collected enough good days and good feelings that you can realize I'm doing better. And but when you don't realize it when you're in the middle of it on either side. And the best thing you can do is acknowledge both of those feelings and, appreciate them for what they are and what you can learn from them and, learn something about yourself. And, it takes a good amount of strength and energy to kind of persevere through the icky stuff. And so, rest and take care of yourself and we're here.
Yeah. Even if you don't feel like doing the things that usually bring you happiness, be that playing games or whatever it might be, don't force yourself to do it. Allow yourself time to sit and be and process and all that. And there'll be a day where you're like, maybe you'll feel like you want to, or maybe you'll feel like you should. You're like, I should do something. And no matter the cause or the situation, if you follow that through, it might lead you to a better day the next day and a better day after that, even if it's only a tiny bit. it all helps. Any little bump in mood can snowball into something better very quickly. So yeah, don't feel bad about feeling bad. It's something we all deal with to a more or less degree, and we need to talk about it more.
There's more than one way to deal with it. No one's gonna deal with it the same way, and everyone processes it in their own time, and that's why it'll work for you. It's just hard when you're going through it.
Yeah, definitely. We feel for you, we hear you, and anybody else listening that has been there or will be there or is there right now.
This time of year
We're
is
with you.
total pressure cooker for
Oh, yeah.
all of that, right? Like, it's just everything feels bigger and heavier right now at this time of year when, like,
So much food, yeah.
well, let me tell you.
Oh man.
I put on a pair of underpants yesterday and I was like, I can't wear these anymore. They're too small. Underpants. I have underpants that are too small.
My body, I don't understand it, and no one else does. I knew Christmas Day, I was just going to eat whatever I wanted. I'm like, I don't care. Holidays, that's what I do. I'm eating whatever. And I'm always like, I'm going to eat all day, beginning to end. I'm hardly going to stop. No one's going to believe that I'm going to do that. And my mom was like, no, you're going to be sick. I was like, I know my body. I will never be sick. And I'm literally going to eat all day. And Mom Brain, we were together on Christmas. Mom Brain will vouch. I literally ate all day. Mac and cheese.
He went into a trance eating from a candy bowl that had York peppermint patties and Reese's peanut butter cup, like the trees. He just was like, I looked over at him and he was just like,
Mom Brain.
Nice.
I'm
Good
like,
for you.
Everybody else was opening gifts and I was somewhere else. Like my sister got Reese's Trees, which I love, but she also accidentally bought white chocolate Reese's Trees. She's like, I'm not eating those. So she put them out for me. And I swear to God, I went to a different planet and I snapped out of it. And I was like, oh, we're opening presents. I was for like 2 or 3 minutes. I was gone, but giant amounts of mac and cheese.
You.
And she made, Mom Brain made the thing that she made for your birthday, that graham cracker, whipped cream, whatever that was. Oh my God. And tons of candy. And my sister got me like a Japanese snack box with a whole bunch of stuff. And I think I ate at least 2/3 of that.
And then we bought your dad a British box of like British candy, and like I think your sister was the one that was like, you can open that.
First, it was like 6 hours into the day. My sister's like, you should crack open that box and see what's in there. And he started eating stuff, and she's like, let me get a little piece of that. And then we all started eating.
That must have been good.
Yes, it had what was in there, the crinkly bar that we like.
The crunchy bar?
Yes. One of those was in there. I mean, everything that was
Did you
that in Saltburn?
Did you notice that in Saltburn?
Yeah.
I texted you because I was like, well, this movie's a 10 out of 10. I don't know why
Gets
RMC
points for
didn't
this
like
right
this.
away. So he saved that for himself because he had already had one and knew he loved it. But yeah, the day was insane. And like the best part is I could, whenever it's before a big, not even a big, just in anything I'm excited about, I cannot sleep. So I was up at like 5 a.m. that day, and I was like, well, this counts. And I ate like 6 Oreos and like something else like huge. And then I went on the treadmill.
Nice.
And then Mom Brain made biscuits, and I ate a whole bunch of biscuits, and it was the greatest day of my life. But I do a whole bunch of reading before that because I'm like, how much weight can you gain in a day? And it's like, realistically, the amount of food you would need to eat above your norm in a day to gain a pound is astronomical. And because my body's I don't understand it. Today, I am still 1.5 pounds heavier than I was before the holidays. And right after I ate the next day, I was over 6 pounds. And I know a lot of that is water and all that, but still 4 days later, I was like 3 pounds over. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't get it. But
So you're saying you ate 6 pounds of food that
I
one
must
day?
have, yes.
Like, because that's how much you had gained, and then
Yeah, and I know, you obviously it moves through you, and like I said, salt and water retention and all that, but I'm still up from where I was, and I've been eating normally since then. I'm like, man, oh man, this
that was
is
a
crazy.
big holiday for you.
It was great. It was the greatest day of my life, I think.
And you slept like a baby.
I slept so good. I
That's
slept literally close to 12 hours. I was just like, I lay down on the couch. Also, I was in pain that night. I was like, I had eaten so much. I was fine the whole day. And then at the very end of the day, I was like, one more biscuit. And I ate it. And my body was so full of food that I was like, my brain, my shoulder, like
And then
up here, my shoulder was so painful.
What happened that night then?
I don't remember. What, you rubbed my shoulder?
He was like, "Will you rub?" And so I like burped him like I would burp a baby, and he was like,
What?
Because at first I was like, "Just lay on your left side, you'll fart it out," and he was like, "It's not working. I can't get it out."
Ipser says, "Do you get the sweats when you eat too much?" I don't get the sweats when I eat too much. But when I did my exercise the next day, I sweat more than I usually. I don't really sweat when I'm walking on a treadmill. But when I got off, I was like a little bit damp. And I was like, this is not normal because I'm full of so much food.
Was the walk easier because of the energy level?
Yeah, it was fine. The walk wasn't bad at all.
Maybe.
But yes.
Because you've been having such trouble sleeping. Maybe like it has something to do with the diet. If you slept through the night.
She was saying she thinks it's caffeine from like I only drink 2 sodas a day, but she was thinking it might be related to that.
Well,
I don't know.
And tea.
Tea,
Like,
yeah.
So you're super not conscious of caffeine and things, like because your mom can't have it, and you're like, is there caffeine in this? Is there like? And I'm so in tune with like. And I pay attention to that. And so I think it's possible that like you just aren't paying attention to like caffeine and whatnot. But I also think that you probably could take in a few more calories in a day.
On top of that, like I don't really think of caffeine because it doesn't like I know when I get too much caffeine, now I get extra jittery and crazy. So like if I have like one of those La Colombe drinks or whatever, I can't really do it because it affects me so much. But if I'm drinking a soda,
so cute. You got cute little sweet eyelashes. You look so sweet.
If I'm drinking a soda or a tea, I don't feel like that.
Drinking a soda or a tea. You're so
when I'm drinking my soda pop, I feel just fine. So I don't know. So I guess yes, if I'm drinking like a soda or two throughout the day, maybe it is adding up in a way that I'm not thinking of, and it's making it harder for me to sleep. Whereas if I drink one of those coffees, I'm freaking out. So maybe that is it. Well, I'll look into it. All right. What have you been playing, Mom Brain?
Oh my God.
My trinkets.
I played Lego Fortnite. It's been great. I played Suika Game. Great. And I played Life is Strange. Also great. However, I will say the other day, I was playing Lego Fortnite wireless, and there was like trouble with the wireless connection.
This is proof of Mom Brain's rot. Well, Mom Brain, I keep telling her where I have the dock in my office, it's in a really bad spot for Wi-Fi, and I always play wired because I have the wired Ethernet in my desktop, and I'm the only one that uses my desktop. So when I'm not working, if I'm playing a game, I just pull the Ethernet cord out of that and plug it into the Switch dock. But with Mom Brain and I both home, she'll be in my office playing wireless. So the internet strength isn't really good where that dock is positioned. So it's a bit of a wonky connection.
So I started I was like, I'm going to game a good chunk of the day. So I started with Suika, then went to Lego Fortnite. But because the connection was bad, it was like real glitchy, and it made me
laggy. You mean?
Sure. It made me motion sick. And then I played Life is Strange, which is like also made me motion sick. And I literally like my back teeth were sweating. Like I was going to throw up.
Oh, no.
So I had to stop and then go upstairs and lay down and take a nap. Because I gamed too much and made myself motion sick. And Rummy was like, I think you were down on the treadmill. And I texted you from like upstairs. I was like, don't talk to me. I got motion sick and I have to sleep.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened if I got up to work and you weren't there, or if I got up and I was going right to the treadmill. But yeah, I was like, oh, she's got to be taking a nap or something. So
yeah,
you gamed too much. You rotted too hard.
Yeah.
Did you see?
I got rot sick.
Who said it? Somebody said, "Oh boy."
Drake Gamer, a level 10 home base.
Yes, a
Yeah,
level
I
10.
know. I'm
What are you?
jealous. I think like a 5 or a 6.
Oof. So that's it. Anything you want to say about those games, or?
It's just been great. I've been having fun. It's been lovely. Also, I got not that it's a game, but I got a Lego succulent kit.
Oh, interesting.
And I put a picture in the Discord before from Raw Mom and Raw Dad for Christmas, and it's beautiful. And then I got an Amazon gift card from my mom and dad, and I used some of that to buy a Lego flower arrangement. And that turned out great too. So highly recommend. Highly recommend.
Cool.
Yeah. No, that's it.
Not much gaming, right?
No, just I brought my Switch with me to visit family for the week, and was just doing the Animal Crossing every day to just kind of be there and say hello to everybody. But and then a little bit of Suika game, but nothing else. Literally nothing else. I was telling RMC yesterday that I was looking at my list of games that I was waiting for like the price to drop on, because there's a significant amount of games that I'm not really chomping at the bit to play, but I want to play. And each one had like a stipulation that was getting under Do Michaels' skin. So I just figured I'd stick to Suika for now until I have the guts to pull the trigger on something. But yeah, so that was it for me. RMC, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I haven't been playing much. All I played was Fortnite with family, which is obviously great. But this week I've been more hanging out with Mom Brain and
You've been
watching stuff.
It's been so great. We've been having such a nice time doing like fun stuff that's like real stress free, because I don't have work. I don't have like my classes finished up. I don't start back again until the 8th. So I've like literally had nothing else to worry about. So we've been able to just like come and go as we please. It's been lovely.
Well, like I said to you, when I restarted the site, I promised you that I wasn't going to work as much. And I believe I've stayed true to that.
Yeah.
But now that you are also not working because of break, it gives us an opportunity to do stuff. So we've gone out to eat. We went to Wegmans, the best in the world.
We did not go to Wegmans. Did we?
Yeah, we bought the pizza.
Oh yeah, on that first night.
I know.
Yeah, my first night. Wow, it feels like it was so long ago.
Tomato pie Wegmans?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. We went to the movies and saw The Iron Claw. I've been watching a ton of movies here and TV shows that I wanted to catch up on.
We went to Aldi.
We went to Aldi, which is great. Yeah. By the way, who was I talking to? We were talking about the Jaffa cakes we got at Lidl, and somebody messaged me and was like, was it on Patreon where they said, yes, it was Patreon. Someone on Patreon said, thanks for talking about Iron Brew and Jaffa cakes, because that's normal in their part of the world. And I was like, well, I'm about to go to Aldi. If they got Jaffa cakes, we're going to get them. And they did. And here's my review. They're also great. So
I was going to say,
they're
Nikki Hill probably bought them all before you. Did you see all those Jaffa cakes he took a photo of?
I don't blame him. And these were not orange. What are they?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. Very good. Different company. Very good.
Cool.
So yeah, we did that. But yeah, I've just been watching a lot of stuff because I want to keep up the cadence of playing and watching. So I've been doing family Fortnite and watching things. So and of course I'm a Marvel nerd, so I watched every episode of What If as it came out. I won't do this all again. Just go on my letterbox. You can see what I've been watching. So yeah, not anything outside of Fortnite, but that will be changing probably tonight. That's that. Let's do questions. Send your questions to GoNintPod@gmail.com.
Where?
GoNintPod@gmail.com. They can be about Nintendo, video games in general, or whatever the hell you want. Nico Gerunia has got a question. The year is 2030X.
Oh.
After years of upgrading, Josh Grobot has become the Terminator. Rami, you have Josh's kill switch at home. Do you push the button? Are you willing to kill your best friend from college in order to save humanity? Josh has become the Terminator. No, because the Terminator is good.
Well, I think if it's Terminator 1, then he's not
he's
good.
Bad. I'm gonna put my faith in Josh that he's Terminator 2. Terminator. So I couldn't bring myself to push the button. No. We all know Josh has a bit of a, I don't want to say a mean streak. He loves the needle, let's say. But
Is that what I sound
when
like?
push comes to shove, Josh is going to do the right thing. So I think he's going to be
Well,
Terminator
that's
2
why
Terminator.
you're not gonna push the button. But if you knew he wasn't gonna do the right thing, you could make that sacrifice. I'm sure,
Hell
right?
yeah.
I think I'd have to, yeah. But with Josh, since
I'm
I
the
know him
star
so
of the
well
show.
from college and everything, I know I wouldn't have to make that choice. So Josh, you're one of the good ones. That's why you're here. That's why we're friends.
I
So
want
we got
to.
along so well in
Shout out
college.
to my bros.
There you go. Shout out to my bro.
Is Crazy Colonel still around? Did they just take a little break?
Yeah, it
for
took
the
a holiday break. Yes, they are around, definitely.
We've probably seen it before, but I'd love to see Josh in the Belushi college sweater. Maybe drinking motor oil or something. I don't know.
That was a really great story.
I want to say there was a college related one, but maybe I'm
It
just
probably
remembering.
was.
And
I can picture like a tennis racket and maybe like a sweater on George, like
Yeah.
a sweater tied around his neck, you know?
Yeah.
ever so handsome. We also have a Patreon question. Mom Brain, did you know you can join the Patreon?
For $1.
For $1. Somebody joined today. Game Freak. Join the Patreon. They have a question. For everyone on the pod, what should I get my dad for Christmas? Whoops. A little late on this.
I got my dad golf stuff.
He's the only one I don't have something for yet. If it's after Christmas, what should I get him for his birthday in mid-January? Or after that, what should I get him for next Christmas? Well, we're here for birthday. Second bonus question. We'll just do this one first and then get the bonus. What should he get his dad for a birthday?
We don't know anything about his father.
I know everything about my dad, and I struggle to get him gifts. So
I think the key to gift giving is buying someone something that they definitely wouldn't buy for themselves. Like that it's either too like luxurious and it doesn't have to be super expensive or like feels too frivolous.
All right, Mom Brain, what would you buy my dad?
Which can be really hard for a parent because, or at least for me, like look, my parents, you know, have worked very hard and have plenty of money. So it's like, you know, what could I buy for my parents that like they wouldn't buy for themselves, you know? And my mom's easier than my dad, but your dad, anything for watercolor?
Yeah, but he
art?
has all that.
Well, I mean, you always need paint.
Do you?
Yeah, he was like he was in tears over the nice paint your sister got him.
Yeah, it's because he's a bitch.
Takes one to know.
I was gonna say seeing how emotional my dad can get with stuff.
He was crying over a gift your sister gave him.
Crying.
He teared up.
But he teared up. But he does.
If
he's
you
always
gave it to
done
him,
that.
he wouldn't have cared. So it's just because it was your sister.
No, he would have,
right?
because he would have been like, "Thank you, Kate." No, I mean, we've all had the honor of making him tear up. He has teared up over stuff I've given him. Danielle,
Really?
Mom Brain made him tear up with cake that she made. So
that's really sweet.
He's an emotional man. Yes. Christmas is very difficult for him because he doesn't want anyone to give him gifts, and he feels bad that we spend our money on them, and everything like means something to him. So he's an emotional gift taker.
So he's like you, except the gifts don't mean anything to you. I get it. You don't want anyone buying you anything. You don't want any gifts. And when they do give them to you, they don't mean anything.
Like
That's
I
the only
said,
difference.
my emotion, like my sister telling me that she watched Neon Genesis Evangelion, that made me emotional. That was
more
something.
Yeah.
Yes, that was really something. I got a lot of great gifts though, honestly. Like that shirt, that Neon Genesis shirt that she gave me, I really love. I got WandaVision, the complete series, which I told my parents when they were asking what I wanted. I said that because I did want it. And so I love that. And they got me Neon Genesis Evangelion, the complete series. So I'm all about that. Because now I want to, now that I'm like downsizing with games and everything, I want to specifically own things that really mean something to me. And I want to like put that on a shelf. So those are two things that mean a lot to me. I got my mom made me like gloves and a hat that I've already worn already, which
Newsy
is cool.
Cap?
No, just a regular ski cap. But yeah, I don't know what the hell to get my dad. He's got everything already. So yeah, I got I take Mom Brain's advice because I got nothing to offer you. I don't know. It's some people are very tough to get gifts for. So I feel the struggle. Hopefully Christmas went well, though. I'd love to hear what you ended up getting him for Christmas. And for if he liked it, then for his birthday, get him something related to what you got him for Christmas. And that's all I got for you. Bonus question with no context. What was your favorite holiday or not gift you've ever given? Favorite gift I've ever given. I really liked what I gave my mom this year for her birthday. I don't know if it's a favorite, but it's up there. My mom, I don't know how, is like, I can't ever find cherry Pop-Tarts. And I'm like, you mean one of the 3 most common flavors in every store? And whenever we go out, I'm like, look, Mom, here's Target, cherry Pop-Tarts. Here's Walmart, cherry Pop-Tarts. Here's every local food store, cherry. They all have them. They're not hard to find. She's like, they don't have them here. So I bought her a 10-pound box of cherry Pop-Tarts. It's like 96 Pop-Tarts, all cherry. So she's in heaven. And I was very excited to give her that. So I had a lot of fun with that. And I told her to butter them, and she tried buttering it, and now she can't go back. So thanks to you, podcast people. We got that from you, and now we passed it on. Favorite gift you've ever given anyone, you two?
I gave my mom back in 1999, I gave her a Santa, like a little Santa ornament that I thought was cool. I'd never seen a black Santa before, and I thought that I would get it. He was like wearing this really cool jacket, and I figured I would give it a go. She likes Santa Clauses, so I knew she didn't have one like this, so I got it for her, and every year she puts it out, and every year it's gone more and more. And she gets Santas every single year. She has to like write the dates on the bottom and who gave them to her and all that stuff. And now so she still is getting Santas. So her collection is ridiculous. And she loves that Santa that I got her. And I've only gotten her 2 Santas in my life because she always gets Santas and someone's going to get her one. So I try to do something different. But I'm kind of proud of that one because she really loves it, and she always puts it like out in the front every single year, regardless of how big because some of the Santas are huge, they're ridiculous, and this is just a simple little Santa that's really cool. At least I thought it was cool, and whether or not she liked it at first, over the years it's become one of her favorites, and she always comments on it, and it makes me feel good because I know she's got so many of them, and there's a ton that she loves. So I don't know. I just thought it was cool.
That's a great answer. That is absolutely perfect. Mom Brain, one for you.
I feel like it wasn't Christmas, but I feel like this year for your birthday, I gave you great stuff.
What did you give me? I have a terrible memory.
I got you your water bottle.
Oh, yes,
and I got you Pinch Me Dough.
I got the emergency pot right here on my necklace.
Yeah.
You're 1 bazillion% right. I love the water bottle without doubt. It's fantastic. You're so right about that. When you gave me those gifts, I was like, these are gifts from someone who really understands not just what I want, but what I also need. It's perfect. That giant pot of Pinch Me Dough is half gone now, and it's the best. I sit there whenever I'm watching anything, I'm always using that, or I grab a little bit at the desk. Oh, what's going on here? Alternate Liz, I like what I see. Mom Brain, you were watching some of that this week.
I was.
We're talking about Freerin is in the chat, and yes, I see the chat talking about the Pop-Tart mascot that was at that football game, which is fantastic. I cannot believe that they had the Pop-Tart mascot that they actually ran through the oven, and then what the coaches and some of the players ate the Pop-Tart. It's incredible. It's incredible. The marketing, the social media chatter it's caused, fantastic. We need more of that. Rest in peace, Pop-Tart. By the way, Pop-Tart, where the hell are your chocolate chip pancake Pop-Tarts? I keep looking for them. I cannot find them. I need them, and I can't get them anywhere. That is it, Red Souza. I don't have Ocean. I don't remember what my scents are, but Pinch Me Therapy Dough is phenomenal. It's wetter and more pliable than Play-Doh, and it lasts a little longer when you're using it, and it smells fantastic. The scents are really good. I cannot get enough of Pinch Me Dough. I have a little pot downstairs. I have a giant pot in my office, and I have like a keychain emergency. It says like emergency therapy Pinch Me Dough on my necklace somewhere that I haven't opened yet, but one day I might need to, so it's ready to go. There it is.
You like that better than a stress ball?
Yeah, one bazillion %. Yeah, not for as far as ASMR stuff goes, ASMR toys or whatever you want to call it. That's my top. Easy my top.
Oh, because it makes like crackling noises and stuff, or
no? But ASMR isn't just sound; it's touch and feeling and all that stuff too. It's fantastic. Love it to death.
Gesundheit.
Oh, okay. That's that.
Nikki Hill is good. Shout out to Nikki Hill. He's good at getting like what you were saying was a great definition, like something that you wouldn't necessarily buy yourself, but like fits in the realm. Like he gave me a couple of really neat gifts this Christmas, and one of them was a book, Heat 2, written by Michael Mann, the director who directed the movie Heat. I knew this existed. I was interested. I was never going to buy this myself. And it was a great gift. And I've been reading it, and it's pretty good. So, I mean, that's just like a small example of like a great gift, something I wouldn't have bought myself, but kind of fits what I'd be interested in. And he knew it.
He is a excellent gift giver, without a doubt. And I think he takes great joy in being that good of a gift giver, because it's not easy to do. Giant Reggie says Nikki gives us listeners the gift of laughs. Well, hopefully he will again soon.
Would like for everyone to be wished a happy new year.
I said that.
Okay.
All right, let's do some music, my brain. Send your music to goninpod@gmail.com.
Where do I send that music?
goninpod@gmail.com. Please put music in the title to help out Mom Brain. You guys did it again, by the way. We were at 300 emails once again when we logged in today. So thank you. You're keeping that up. Mom Brain, I'll let you play the jingle, and then we'll... let me get my notes music ready.
You want to hear it? You want to hear it? Oh.
Yeah, that's so classic.
I left the chat as to not cheat. What's up?
Nothing. I'm doing my...
Not talking to you, talking to Do.
No, the I got music. I mean, I know we hear it every week, but sometimes you don't hear it. You know what I mean? And I was just listening to it, and
but you want to hear it.
So classic. I remember when we recorded that.
I wish I did.
Those were the days.
Are we starting?
I didn't mean to, but yes. This is from Steve Irwin, R.I.P.
Animal Crossing, definitely. Yeah. And it's DS sound, so it's Wild World.
Yeah. 8 p.m.
I never played it, but it just had that. I was going to say Animal Crossing New Horizons just because it feels like it, but...
Absolutely.
They excellent. I mean, what you know.
Except for that one.
Yeah, that one, and that one's just all right.
Like 3 p.m.
Yeah, no one plays like 2 to 3. Not anymore, anyways.
All right, so that was from Steve Irwin, R.I.P., and it was Animal Crossing Wild World on the dual screen. This one comes from Jess I.
Undertale.
Yep.
Easy. Let it go. Thank you for sending that in. So many good songs on that soundtrack. That Toby Fox is a talented man. Even if you don't like the game, he's a hell of a composer. It's something I can set my watch to.
All right, here we go. Now I don't want you to get too worked up. That was from Jess I. This one comes from Jet Jaguar.
Focus all attacks. Inscription?
No.
I know this.
Yes, you do.
Why do I know this so well? Switch.
I think
Oh.
so.
Why do I know this? Does Deux know it?
Doesn't sound
I don't
familiar.
think so, but I don't know for sure.
It doesn't down familiar. Down familiar? So, aye.
That's right.
Perfect. This is gonna piss me off.
Don't get mad, get even.
With Glad? It's like right on the tip of my tongue. The Binding of Isaac.
That is correct.
Oh, mackerel.
There we go. Search the depths. It was on Switch. It was just, at launch. So
Yeah.
that's a while ago.
So that was The Binding of Isaac. This one comes from Nico Darunia.
That's a DS sound right away.
I don't think
Oh, okay.
so. Let me double check.
It's gonna be. This is a very Nintendo song. Oh, there's only one franchise that sounds like this. It's Box Boy.
It is Box Boy.
Is that not? What was that? 3DS? DS? Wii U? The Switch? It's on everything. I don't remember.
Oh,
Love that Box Boy.
it is Box Boy.
Play Box Boy, people. What a great puzzle series.
Here comes one from Turbo K.
Oh, Zelda. Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Not bad.
This one comes from Steister.
All right. DS?
Yep.
I don't. There's something about it is Capcom, but it's not Capcom.
Atlas.
Okay. So it's an RPG.
I don't know.
It's an RPG. It's an RPG, but it's not. It's not like a traditional RPG. It's not one of their franchise RPGs. It's experimental, and on the DS there were a lot of experimental RPGs. That's as close as I'm gonna get.
Ace Attorney.
No.
I'm not. My knowledge of Atlas RPGs, I could rattle names off, but that's as close as I'm getting. Experimental RPG is my guess from Atlas.
It is Contact.
There you go.
3, 2,
There you go.
1. That was from Steister. This one comes from Zebrefus.
Man, I can't even guess anything about this. The sound is so
Glockenspiel the
confusing.
game.
I can't even figure out. Is it Super Nintendo?
No.
64?
Yes.
That damn 64. Jesus, I don't know. Ogre Battle. Quest.
No.
Xena. Hercules.
Nope.
Franchise?
I don't think so.
Lover.
No. It is a one-word title, though.
Hexen.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my god! That's really funny.
You're amazing.
That's
If I didn't know
really
you to be
funny.
such an honest man, I'd say you were cheating. It is Hexen on the 64.
I was gonna guess Hexen and Daikatana, and that was gonna be it. That's really
Next
funny.
song comes to us.
I don't remember if I made a mark. I don't remember.
You made a mark on the wins.
Well, we have 3 songs left. There's this one and
Okay,
2 more.
good. I didn't make a mark.
This one comes from Dustin.
Okay, this is Super Nintendo,
It is.
and I know this.
Yep.
Yeah, I know this. License?
Yes.
Disney.
No.
Okay, that's where I'm. You're sure not Disney?
I am sure
Okay.
not Disney.
Capcom?
No.
Konami?
Nope.
Whoa, what is this?
Acclaim.
Oh, God. Lawnmower Man. Jesus. What licensed game from Acclaim would I play? Still around?
Yep.
Simpsons.
Yes.
All right, don't tell me. Bart's Nightmare.
Yes.
This is an awesome song for Bart's Nightmare.
It's not a very. It's. I used to rent it a lot, and I don't know why.
Because it was Bart, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
This one comes from Zartan86.
Halt! I am Zartan. Gradius?
No.
Not Gradius?
No.
Something with a spaceship? Life
Right.
Force?
Life Force.
There you go, Nick.
Nice.
That's for you.
You speak your-
That Konami noise.
This last one comes from Mikey3319, and it is a Christmas song. But we didn't do music last
Banjo-Kazooie.
week, so
Diddy Kong Racing.
Super Mario RPG.
nope.
What system?
DS.
I got no idea
I
at all.
wouldn't have known this is a Christmas song. Is this a famous Christmas song or?
No, it's
Elf Bowling.
No.
Is the game Christmas related?
yes. Fart tuba and oboe. Everyone's favorite.
Struggling to think of a Christmas game. Santa something.
No.
I don't know.
It is Dr. Seuss How the Grinch Stole Christmas the Game.
Oh my god. But it was a real gem. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I'll take it.
6 out of 9.
Pretty
Great
good
job.
showing for the end of the year.
You know, I feel like you and the Grinch would be all right together, right? Since you both don't really care for the holiday, but
Oh, so pre-Grinch, not post-Grinch. Like not
Before his heart grew.
reformed Grinch, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, we would. Doesn't he likes kids more than I do, but yeah, I guess we'd get along. Well, that's it. Unless you got anything for us, Stu.
I don't believe. Oh my goodness! Look at this. It's coming across my
what
desk.
an honor.
Last rumor of the year, huh?
Mhm.
Ooh, and it's worth it, people. Let me tell
I
you.
hope this one's true. I hope this one's true.
So here's a little something called Deux Views. It's never news. Rumor of the week, starring Deux Michaels.
Can I briefly interject with I always want to play the guitar lick from Wayne's World.
Nice. Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah, we need to get that on.
That would be perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a network of spiders and flies all around the video game communities, and they bring to me the tastiest morsels of rumors that you could ever make up in a time period as long as this podcast. So, they come across my desk, and I've got a nice one here. Usually they are rumors, though. This week, it's true, funnily enough. So we're
You
gonna
got your wish, Mom
we're
Brain.
giving you a Christmas miracle late and a New Year's miracle early. So we spoke earlier.
Hey, Sinfield.
We spoke earlier about how scientists have found out painstakingly that Mario Odyssey kills depression down 50%. The other part of the study that they didn't tell you was that Doki Doki Literature Club and Undertale make depression go up 50%. Interesting
I
enough.
knew
So,
Doki Doki also makes
100%
boners
that
go
was
up.
where this was going.
I don't know what you mean at all. This is a true story that has nothing to do with me making it up.
Well, it's funny that it's true because I was going to make that joke if that's not what you were going to say, but since it's true, there you go.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening to another Deux View, and we hope that you have all the best in the new year.
Yeah, that's it. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. We did it all today. We said it all. We did it all. And we're gonna be here next year. Everybody, please have a safe and fun and happy New Year. And if you're staying up till midnight, then stay up till midnight. If you don't want to, then go to bed. Who cares? Watch a YouTube video at 8 p.m. that does a countdown and be like, "Well, that's it for me," and then go to bed. Do whatever you want.
New Year's Eve.
Eat lots
Stupid.
of mini hot dogs if you are vegan or vegetarian. Then eat lots of what are
Not dogs.
yeah, but what's another like New Year's snack? Chips in general, I guess.
Spinach
Lots
balls.
of chips.
Yeah, I mean just junk food. I mean I don't know.
Lots
if that's,
of junk
is that
food.
just us?
No, I think that's everybody.
Okay.
Well, finger foods. Everybody does that at New Year's.
Yeah, I think so.
At least in America, it's a thing. Yeah, I don't know about other countries.
Ooh,
but-
Radical Defect Master Higgins. Chinese is happening tonight because we big rotting after a big trip. Also, they went to Buc-ee's, I believe.
Oh
Goodness,
man,
my
that's
goodness,
great.
that's the
Didn't
way
get
to
to
end
use
the
the
year.
bathroom because the line was too long.
It's the biggest attraction there. There you go. Impossible Nuggets. That's great, Tony. And Impossible Nuggets are delicious. Love them.
Yeah, they are.
Love
good.
'em.
They even make Dino
Mm.
fillets, which is lovely.
I know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us this year. I really appreciate it. We got some new people in there. We got some fresh faces. We got some old favorites. You're all welcome. We'll be here next year. We're going to kick things off with another trivia round next week.
Another
so
shovel
get ready
show.
for that. And hopefully Nikki Hill will be here, and we'll see what happens. Who knows? But that's it for this episode this week and this year. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next year. Goodbye, everybody. Hey, ho, good times before God. And all the time. That's great. That's great, guys. I don't think we really need an after show. We went on so many tangents. Well, I should say I don't. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about?
I've been watching Slow Horses on Apple Plus. I recommend it to all listeners.
What's it about?
It's good. Gary Oldman plays the head of a disgraced MI5 unit. So it's basically a bunch of MI5 agents that have like screwed up in their own careers, and they all get sent to this like kind of like the B team. And Gary Oldman is like this kind of he's like this dirty alcoholic that doesn't give a crap, and he's like trying to ride out the rest of his crappy career. And but like, you know, they stumble across some things and they start working as a team, and it's kind of cool. So
3 seasons, baby.
yeah, it's pretty good. I recommend it. It's I watched the first season all in one yesterday. And I watched the first episode of the second season today. It's pretty good. I like it. Gary Oldman's always great at acting. Just don't ask me what's going on in his personal life. And it's a good show. It's decent.
Tell me about your thoughts on Richard E. Grant in Saltburn. I thought he was great.
He was excellent, and I love Richard E. Grant, so I was going to love him anyway. But boy, perfect for the role. Nailed it. I thought everyone was terrific. That Rosamund Pike is always excellent. And Barry was obviously great too. But yeah, I love Richard E. Grant. He was just perfect for the role. Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was kind of a small role in the grand scheme of everything going on there. and I would have liked maybe one or two more scenes kind of accentuating just he reminded me a little bit
Hi, Arcade Token.
of that Simpsons episode where Lisa's getting married in the future to that British guy, and it's like he's like, I get me brain medicine from the National Health. Like,
he definitely has that vibe.
Like, I kind of wanted more like weirdness with him, a couple weird scenes, but boy, some of those scenes, like
the dinner table.
I was just about to exactly say that exact thing.
The ridiculousness of it, I loved it. I loved it so much.
When they get that, all that stuff is really amazing. Like, without any spoilers, when they're like, the party was great, wasn't it? And he's like, oh, triumph, and it was like with tears in his eyes, like it's like insane that this is like what the, you know what I mean? But I like all that stuff.
Sister,
it's
like just
unreal,
so
yeah,
good.
unreal. Some of that stuff, and like the dressing for dinner and all that is like, I don't know. I fall for all that stuff. RMC is immune to the charms of the British,
it's
and
funny
he gives
because they
me
were
crap all the
talking
time
about dressing for dinner, and I was like, man, if I was in that house, like I showed up day one, and they're like, you got to shave and dressing for dinner, I'd be like, back to school. I know.
I can only imagine like what Duncan, the butler, would have thought of you walking up.
Duncan and I would not have got along.
He wouldn't have replaced your mirror. Let me put it that way.
That's very true. Ross says Pokemon Concierge is a cozy one, very wholesome. Yes, remember I showed you a trailer for Pokemon Concierge? It's out. There's only 4 episodes and it's done. I've heard great things, great reviews, so I definitely want to check that out. I wrote about that on Patreon. Arcade Token says, I enjoyed lessons in chemistry. I've been on the edge of watching that one. I really like Brie Larson. I'm interested in the topic. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but it's on my list. It's on my list.
Your sister and your
It got
mom
good
and
reviews,
your
I
aunts
believe.
Yeah,
Right?
it's good. Not like incredibly glowing, but very good, like 80s and some 90s, I believe. But yeah, I'm down. Grandma says I rotted all the way into a nap today. Good news. I've got the podcast to watch tomorrow. Well, that sounds like a great way to spend the end of the year, with a nice long nap. Love it. Beautiful, beautiful way to spend a weekend and a break. All right, everybody. Again, have fun for New Year's Eve, but please be safe, be responsible, spend it with those who you love and those who love you, and just make memories and enjoy the day for what it is.
Prioritize making the first person on the list of people who loves you.
That's right. That's right. And that's all we got this time. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Play some games. Rest, relax, hang out. You deserve it. Hang out with friends and family. And we'll see you. Hi, Malakalo. We'll have a nice life. That's right, Malakalo. We'll see you next week.
Have a good life.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. We